If you've ever gotten overly excited by listening to players and coaches talk as they arrive at training camp, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And also RIP to Ozzy Osbourne, who we lost yesterday at the age of 76. Not a huge fan of metal, but some of those songs were classic. Anyway, welcome back, folks, to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today, the Wednesday, July 23rd edition, and this really is the linchpin of the week, if you ask me. We have a whole bunch of earnings tonight. We had some last night and this morning. It's probably going to be the busiest day, and we have some squeeze action going. So if you're a fan of the heart attack rings and Krispy Kreme donuts, today is probably your day. We'll see what other types of squeezes we can get. We got a huge trade deal with Japan. How about that? Huge trade deal with Japan. All of that stuff's going on. Market is higher here this morning. We're going to have some fun. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Wednesday, July 23rd starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks, to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. I just got to say, today's a busy day, and I love the energy from our group already here today. I love the early birds in the chat prior to the show even starting. That put a smile across my face and put me in an even better mood than I was in when I woke up. Pretty awesome. Hi, Kayla. Kayla is first today, folks. Hello, Kayla. Welcome. I hope you had a good evening. EKS, good morning, Benzinga. The meme stocks are back. Donut plus 37.5%. Pre-market was 27% yesterday. What does today hold is the big question. 'Tis the season to be squeezing, as we have said. Looks like we're going to get some more of that. Welcome back, EKS. It's great to see you. Empyrean, good morning. Not for sad face. Empyrean, it's great to have you back. No problem. Tomorrow is another day. Looks like you got to wake up pretty early in the morning to beat Kayla, though. Great to see you. Welcome back. Paul, good morning. Good to see you again. You must have had fun last night with the futures and the trade deal and all of that. Let's get it. Good morning, Paul. Brian, welcome back. Good to see you. Shanlu Trading, welcome back. Michelle, here to learn some more. You came to the right spot, Michelle. Welcome back. Good morning. Sun-Kissed Yogi, good morning. Welcome back. Quantum, good morning. Couch Potato, good morning. Ryan, good morning. Ryan, did you see my email about GoPro? No, I actually just found it here. This week's been really crazy for me. I have another long nighttime webinar tonight with Tim Melvin and Anne-Marie that you all should check out. I'll go ahead and give you a QR code and a link for that, but I haven't got to it, Ryan. I will get to it today. I did find it, so it came through. There you go. Scan that QR code. Join that webinar tonight. We are going to be promoting Tim and Anne-Marie's new product tonight, and attendees actually get a special sale. So simply showing up, even if it's for 5 minutes, is going to unlock a potential sale on Anne-Marie and Tim Melvin's new service that we're premiering here. But in addition to that, if you don't really care about the service, you should join the webinar anyway, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to cover here. Y'all folks know how good Tim and Anne-Marie are. So we're really looking forward to that here tonight. So be sure to check that out. Bernhard, welcome back. Good morning. Florida Yacht Insurance Guy. Good morning. Let's make some money. Already hit CLSD for a small win. Dude, I love how you guys are making money prior to the market even opening. That makes me happy. Florida Yacht Insurance Guy, really good stuff. Jay Grant, good morning. Brandy, it's good to see you as always. Welcome back. Chuck, welcome back. Michelle, hey all, what trading journal do you guys use? I need one with Forex as well, because I trade Forex with Maverick Trading, so Forex options, etc. So I actually don't use a program for this. I'm cheap. I simply export my trades from my broker, and then I add a couple of columns, one mostly for notes. So I don't actually use one. I just use the export feature on my broker. But if anyone has suggestions on quality training journals for our community member, Michelle, please suggest those. I like to see that people are journaling. That's definitely something that I wish I did from the start. I thought, you don't really need this. You know, it's not really important. Turns out, yeah, you can actually learn from that. So really good question. Jim, good morning. Welcome back. Florida Insurance Guy asks if we're watching DNUT. Yes, we are, and others, namely Rocket. That was actually at 1995. Oh man, after a big day yesterday, maybe Rocket with its high short interest is going to be in play here today. Sassy Butterfly Chick, happy hump day, Benzinga family. Indeed it is, Sassy Butterfly Chick, welcome back. Hickam, welcome back. C-Dub, welcome back. Day Trader, good morning. R.I.P. Ozzy, indeed, man. Big Bees, good morning. Dave, good morning. Hoot, good morning. Dave says, good morning, sir. You say, sir, I turn around and look for my father. That's weird. Anyway, welcome back. It's good to see you. We're casual around these parts. Producer reminding us that Alphabet reports, will go through all those. Durkus, good morning. Jeff, good morning. GB Slice, good morning. Heart attack rings are the best. They are really good. That's the problem. Francis, good morning. It's good to see you. Welcome back, Gary. Good to see you again. Reaching Financial Freedom, good morning. Gringo, good morning. Sly Dog, good morning. Special K, good morning. Rooster, good morning. Lambo Rolls, good morning. JJ, good morning. ATL Russ, good morning. Family Life Radio, Zach and Chopped Coop, good morning. Stepan, good morning. We got a lot of good mornings here. Bobcat, great to see you again. John, good to see you again. Maverick, Kevin, and Tyler, good to see you again. Nathan, Ralph, Nomad, and Javon, good morning. Good morning, Zoo. All right, and can you look at TXHL? Never heard of that. Let me add that. We'll take a look at that a little bit later, Durkus. Added to the list. C Boogie, good morning. It's great to see you. Okay, let's go ahead and break down the news, get you all squared away for what you need to know here today. We'll start with the SPY chart as we normally do. And guess what? So I was making the joke yesterday on happy hour at the close that like nothing happened because the previous closing price the day before yesterday was 628.77 and yesterday's closing price was 628.86. So it's literally like an 11-cent difference there. Good morning, 3D and Ryan and Empyrean. So we basically, there was some up and down, but we basically just kind of traded in the same range. I mean, 11-cent difference on the close, that's basically nothing. The key takeaway that we had from this is that the market was really just kind of waiting. If you take a look, if we zoom in a little bit, and we're focusing mostly on these last two candles, yesterday and the day before. The day before, so Monday, we tried to go higher, but we really couldn't break out of the range with any type of gusto, if you will. So we traded back down to about even. And yesterday we had the opposite of that. We traded down a little bit first, but the market really wouldn't break down. I think we traded down to what, 626? Yeah, 626 and a half about yesterday. And then we came back to flat. So really, it just seemed to me that the market was kind of waiting for something. And probably good that it was waiting because we got something later on in the day. Massive trade deal with Japan, S&P futures and the rest of the market ticking up on that. S&P futures up 0.4% here today. Dow futures up 0.5% here today. And the NASDAQ up 0.17% here today. So that news, at least early on here today, is popping the market. And it looks like, based on this chart, that we are going to try and trade up here, maybe 640 on that as a potential high spot there. Not saying we get there today, but maybe we do make a move towards that 640. Now, let's go ahead and dive into some of the news. We'll break that down like a fraction for you. Start here with just a general overview. President Donald Trump finalized the long-anticipated trade deal between Washington and Tokyo. Trump emphasized the job creation potential, stating that it would generate hundreds of thousands of jobs. Additionally, oh, man, those commercials. Okay. Additionally, Japan will open its markets to U.S. cars, trucks, rice, and other agricultural products while agreeing to a reciprocal tariff of 15% on U.S. imports. At the same time, the Treasury hanging out right there at about 4.38%, the 10-year Treasury, that is. The 2-year bond is at 3.85%. So again, those are both moving in the right direction, albeit slowly, but not creating any more concern, at least as of right now. According to the analysts at BlackRock, markets are pricing in multiple Federal Reserve cuts over the next year. Yet they see sticky inflation limiting rate cuts, even as renewed rate hikes are unlikely. So it looks like, although we are going to enter a cutting cycle, it sounds like BlackRock's telling you here this is likely not going to be an aggressive cutting cycle, and it actually may take some time, 1 or 2 years, to get down to the target interest rate there via cuts. I think that's important for all of us. Like, although it appears that cutting is going to be, or a rate cut is going to be the next decision here as opposed to a rate hike. let's understand that this is not going to happen really quickly. It's going to kind of be a slow process. That should actually be pretty good for us trading here. Anyway, the note stated that BlackRock's preference is partly driven by caution on long-term bonds due to the lack of U.S. fiscal discipline and sticky inflation. BlackRock further states, quote, we get selective across and within regions. We went overweight U.S. agency mortgage-backed securities. Spreads are wider than historical averages, and we could see some investors switch from long-term treasuries. We upped local currency emerging markets debt to neutral this month. It has weathered U.S. trade policy shifts, and debt levels have improved. The other thing here is that very clearly more and more uncertainty is being removed as we continue to peel days off of that calendar. Additionally, they highlighted the bottom line, stating that there was a mix of income opportunities, but they remain selective due to fiscal sustainability risks. Federal Reserve independence is important for investor confidence around the globe. In our view, that came from Colin Martin, the director of fixed income strategy at the Charles Schwab Center for Financial Research. Quote, we expect the Fed to lower rates globally over the next year or so, which seems appropriate if the labor market gradually cools and inflation resumes its disinflationary trend toward 2%. So that's pretty much what's going on the macro level here. Let's actually get into the trade deal, because that's the important thing here. Trump says a $550 billion trade deal with Japan reached, and that will create thousands of jobs. Quote, there's never been anything like it, end quote. President Trump declared on Monday that a monumental trade agreement has been reached with Japan. Also, Japan will invest heavily in the U.S., with America receiving 90% of the profits. Trump emphasized the job creation potential, stating it would generate hundreds of thousands of jobs, and additionally, Japan would open its markets to U.S. cars, trucks, rice, and other agricultural products, while agreeing to a reciprocal tariff of 15%. Quote, Japan will invest at my direction $550 billion into the United States, which will receive 90% of the profits. This deal will create hundreds of thousands of jobs. There's never been anything like it. Trump's announcement, made through a post on Truth Social, comes after a series of tense trade negotiations with Japan, where we had previously threatened tariffs as high as 35% if no agreement was reached. This deal marks a significant shift in trade relationships between the two countries. The announcement was made on Truth Social, where Trump expressed excitement about the strengthened U.S.-Japan relationship. He said, quote, this is a very exciting time for the U.S. and America, and especially for the fact that we will continue to always have a great relationship with the country of Japan. The deal signifies a significant shift in the U.S.-Japan trade relationship. Prior to this, Trump had escalated trade tensions with Japan, threatening to impose steep tariffs if no agreement was reached before the deadline set on August 1st. This threat represented a significant increase from Japan's current 10% tariff rate on most exports, implementing Trump's April 2 Liberation Day, where he imposed duties on trading partners worldwide. Furthermore, Trump has revealed his intentions to set new tariff rates unilaterally for various trading partners through letters, bypassing the need for individual agreements. This decision left the rest of the world in a state of uncertainty, although now we're starting to see that is slowly but surely changing to certainty. Notably, last week, Trump said he had reached a trade deal with Indonesia, which included an order for 50 Boeing jets. We also got news yesterday about a deal with the Philippines as well. So I know those deals didn't happen as fast as some folks wanted, but they are happening. Call it whatever you want. It is, or it at least appears to be working. Okay. Next story here, kind of concerning, but I have the little Tim Melvin in the back of my head reminding me that insider sales can happen for a number of reasons. However, insiders have rarely been this bearish. Selling spree by executives sweeps through the S&P 500, but there is one sector that is bucking the trend. On Tuesday, in a post on X by the Kobisi letter, which we have talked about a lot here, I would say that this is a great Twitter account or X account for you to follow, highlighted that across most public equities, insiders have been net sellers this year. Quote, insiders have rarely been this bearish before, end quote. Only 11.1% of companies with insider activity are seeing more buying than selling by corporate officers and directors, the post says, noting that these figures mark, quote, the lowest share on record, end quote. This means insiders were net sellers of almost 90% of companies with recent transactions, which is seen as a key indicator for the markets since insiders are often viewed as having the most informed outlook on their companies and respective sectors. I'm going to pause right here and insert my own little thought on this. We have seen a number of these CEOs kind of handle, or C-suite executives handle, the uncertainty, but we have actually seen them be wrong. So the fact that they're doing this is notable, no doubt, but nothing is set in stone here. And I think it would behoove us to continue to watch everything that happens going forward. Historically, it has held well above current levels, the Post notes, never having fallen below 15% over the past decade, highlighting the growing pessimism among corporate insiders in recent months. The Post notes that, quote, insiders were either neutral or negative in 10 of the 11 S&P 500 sectors, the only exception being utilities, which showed positive sentiment during this period. Shout out to our chat, because we have been talking about energy and utilities, I think, more than most, especially recently, but throughout the course of this year. So it appears that our group here looks to be doing pretty well and looks to be in the right spot. Here is the tweet from the Kobisi letter. If you want a copy or if you want access to this article, I'll go ahead and throw the link there in the chat. Utilities have been a bright spot this past year amid the volatility and macro uncertainties. The Vanguard Utilities Index Fund ETF, ticker VPU, is up 20% from its one-year trough, hitting a 52-week highs earlier this week. Investors have flocked to utilities owing to trade and tariff-related uncertainties in recent months, leading the sector to hit fresh highs not seen since 2024. Boy, all the way back in 2024. So we'll see if this changes. We'll continue to watch insider activity. Big time shout out to Tim, who does a lot of this and then shares his findings with us. I think that makes us all better here. Okay, next. Let's talk Tesla, right? We'll start here with the chart. Tesla, of course, report. Actually, you know what? Let me just go to the morning update here real quick. We'll get all of that out of the way. Then we can dive into Tesla. A couple of things here. Existing home sales. You're going to get that print here at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that might be key with some of these other real estate stocks moving. Remember, we had D.R. Horton report earnings. They traded up 17%. That chart actually looks wild. We should take a look at that one again. I'll make sure to do that. I had a great breakdown from Happy Hour from our real estate expert, Felicia. Unsure why the stock is trading that high. We can talk about that when we look at it. But D.R. Horton had a huge move yesterday. Rocket had a huge move. Rocket also, ticker RKT. This also plays into the high short interest theme that we see going right now. So a lot of things kind of lining up. We'll see if that existing home sales print does anything to get Rocket fired up here today. As mentioned, market here trading higher in the pre-market. Gold down and Bitcoin down. Bitcoin down 1.3%, but I wouldn't be too worried about that. Bitcoin has been hot recently. It is worth noting, looking at the futures chart here this morning, Bitcoin has actually bounced off the $118,000 level. So we are up off the lows by nearly 1,000 points here this morning. We'll see how Bitcoin tracks here today. No big company events today. We'll save all of our energy for earnings. There are a couple of IPOs here today. Ticker CRE, priced between 4 and 5. Carl, which is Carl's Med, that priced between 14 and 16. NIQ Global Intelligence, that priced between 20 and 24. And TDIC Dreamland Limited, that priced between 4 and 5. So you do have 4 IPOs here here today, excuse me. None of these are on my short list, if you will. I don't have a line on any of these. I doubt I will trade any of these here today. As far as some initiations go, Sally Mae initiated with a buy from Jefferies with a $40 price target. QBTS, D-Wave Quantum, Canaccord gives it a buy rating with a price target of 20. QBTS currently sitting at 18.25. That's up another 3.75% here today. AppLovin, where's Lion? Someone go wake Lion up, get him out of bed. This is up 1.7% on the back of the BTIG buy rating with a 483 price target. That looks like that might keep driving AppLovin higher. Blink Charging, ISRG got a buy rating. They also reported earnings last night, so I would like to see those ratings come out before the earnings. but that's just, I guess, being nitpicky. Etsy, equal weight from Barclays. Mercado Libre got an overweight from Barclays with a 3K price target. Looking at some downgrades here. Sarepta, boy, the bad news just keeps on coming. $10 price target there. Boot Barn got a downgrade. That's interesting. Boot Barn has actually been a pretty good stock. This down 1.15% here this morning, with 175 price target. And then what else do we have? I think that was it. Toll Brothers, excuse me, analyst upgrades. That's right. Seaport Global upgrading Toll Brothers. That's another one of those home builders. Toll Brothers focuses more on the luxury home market. So interesting to see that with an upgrade here. 161 price target. Toll Brothers here, 129 right now. So actually pretty good distance there for Toll Brothers. Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick look here at the Tesla earnings. This is, I think, going to be the biggest earnings print here today. Maybe it's Google, but Tesla always seems to do that here. Electric vehicle giant Tesla is expected to provide an update on demand and the performance of its robo-taxi tests when the company reports its second quarter earnings result after the close here today. Here are the estimates. Analysts expect Tesla to report second quarter revenue of $22.79 billion, which is down from $25.5 billion in last year's quarter. That's according to Benzinga Pro. The company has missed analyst estimates for revenue in 3 straight quarters and missed estimates in 6 of the last 7 quarters. Analysts expect Tesla to report second quarter earnings per share of 42 cents per share, down from 52 cents per share in last year's second quarter. The company has missed analyst estimates for earnings per share in 2 straight quarters and missed estimates in 6 of the last 7. Tesla shares are mixed ahead of the report, with several neutral ratings and downgrades expected in July. One analyst who remains bullish on Tesla is Wedbush's analyst Dan Ives. Water is wet, by the way. A frequent Tesla bull. Ives maintained an outperform rating and a $500 price target on Tesla ahead of the earnings report. Ives said, quote, "The street will focus on demand stabilization and robo-taxi expansion." The analyst also highlighted the difference between Tesla's performance in July and April. Quote, "On the April earnings call, the big focus was Musk officially leaving the Trump administration and pressure to refocus on being the CEO of Tesla. Now investors are seeing more of a wartime CEO as Elon is laser focused on the robo-taxi expansion in Austin." Remember, he said that he's spending 7 days a week at the office when his kids aren't around. He's sleeping there. All of that stuff. So we'll see if that has any positive impact on Tesla. I've said more cities are coming for the robo-taxi expansion, calling it, quote, "a key autonomous initiative" for the company, end quote. Front and center for investors are AI initiatives happening under the hood of Tesla, with the street listening carefully for any more direction around a Tesla investment into XAI, which will require shareholder vote later this year. I've said Tesla is a clear future leader in artificial intelligence and robotics, and that could be highlighted during the financial results and conference call. Now, I want to stop here real quick because obviously AI is something that we have been discussing ad nauseum here on this program. We've been trading it. We've been looking for more trades. It's a key driver of what's going on here. And I got to be honest, we have not really talked a whole lot about Tesla being a key AI player. We focused a lot on the robotaxi. That's partly my fault because I enjoy those stories back and forth all the time. We focused on Bitcoin. We focused on the inclusion with the political system, the whole 9 yards. But we really haven't talked a lot about Tesla being an AI leader. And part of me wonders if there's a little bit of a catch-up trade. I have no position for that. This is just kind of something I'm kicking around, but I wanted to mention it to you folks as well. Quote, "We believe autonomous valuation is worth $1 trillion alone to the Tesla story over the next few years." The analyst said Tesla had weakness in China in prior quarters, but the region could be rebounding based on June sales, which were up year over year for the first time in 8 months. If Musk continues to lead and remain in the driver's seat at this place, we believe Tesla is on a path to an accelerated growth path over the coming years. I've said that Tesla is at a positive crossroads in his story with Musk focused as CEO, robotaxi expansion beginning and demand stabilization coming, and the company's ready to embark on aggressive AI growth. Bank of America analysts maintained a neutral rating on Tesla ahead of the report while raising the price target from 305 to 341. The analyst raised the price target due to optimism for robotaxis and promised to have unsupervised full self-driving in place by the end of 2025. Bank of America remained cautious about the pressure on the EV industry overall due to the elimination of the federal tax credits. Quote, "Tesla is the most challenged among the OEMs given disappointing deliveries, IRA incentives phasing out, and tariffs," the analyst said. Here are the recent analyst ratings on Tesla and their price targets. Goldman Sachs went to 285 from 315. Mizuho went from 390 to 375. Guggenheim reiterated a sell and went to 175. William Blair downgraded and didn't give a price target. That's a cop-out, if you ask me. Investors and analysts will be watching many items in Tesla's financial results and conference call, including robo-taxis, tariffs, Tesla Diner, which we talked about yesterday, Cybertruck demand, EV tax credits, Trump administration impact, China, Europe, and the vote on XAI, if you didn't have enough stuff to track. Tesla already reported second quarter deliveries of 384,122. That's 384,122, which were down from 444,000 just about in the last year's second quarter. Production of 410,000 units in the quarter was down slightly from the 410,800 in last year's second quarter. Among the closely watched demand is the Cybertruck. While Tesla doesn't break out the new vehicle individually, reports suggest that the Cybertruck has fallen behind the F-150 Lightning and Hummer EV for third place among electric pickup trucks. I guess people don't like their cars looking like a dumpster. That's my takeaway from that. Tesla probably won't comment or take action regarding Bitcoin. Still, it could become a future catalyst with the elimination of corporate tax credits for EV companies acquired by other automakers. CEO Elon Musk will be asked multiple questions about the current White House administration and President Trump. After a close friendship, the two had a falling out that could spill over to Tesla. I don't know if we'll hear anything about SpaceX and all of that. That's also making the rounds. Trump threatened to look into subsidies that the Musk-related companies received. Trump also nominated the head of the NHTSA, who is opposed to autonomous vehicles, a potential roadblock to Tesla's robotaxi growth. After not giving much color on full-year guidance after the first quarter results, investors and analysts will be wanting to hear more. Tesla said its 2025 guidance would be revisited in the second quarter update, which will be released on Wednesday. That will probably be one of the big things from the report here tonight. Timelines for the company will be closely watched as the first quarter, watched with the first quarter update, which is expected to confirm the company remains on track to start production of its more affordable models in the first half of 2025 and the Cybercab to begin volume production in 2026. Matthew, good morning. Lion, good morning. All right, whoever woke Lion up and got him out of bed, I owe you a breakfast sandwich, so that's good. Good morning, Wiss. Matthew asking, any news on G Pro? It's more than doubled in price. I believe G Pro is one of those short squeeze candidates, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check that out here for you before we get to our guest. Here is G Pro. It's up 51% here in the pre-market to a whopping 207. Quick look at the short interest, 9.43% with 2 days to cover, 2.13 days to cover. This is actually some of the lower short interest on some of these stocks, but this one definitely participating in 'tis the season to be squeezing. I suspect. Don't see any other big news there. Good morning, Mo. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Tara, Tenzin, and anyone else that I missed. Okay. Did we talk about food already? The diner mention doesn't count, does it? All right, Zach, but since you did that, I'm going to screenshot that, and I got a bit of a surprise for you tomorrow. You want to play hardball? We'll play some hardball. We'll see you tomorrow, buddy. All right, let's go ahead and get to our guest here. It's Wednesday, which means it's Tim Melvin time. Let's see what he's got for us today. Tim, good morning. Happy Wednesday, my man.
Good morning, Ryan. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Looking forward to tonight's big event with Ryan and I are going to be doing some webinar magic later on this evening. So excited about that. And just looking forward to another interesting day in the markets, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tim, that's a really good segue. Here is how you can access that webinar. We are going to have some fun tonight, that's for sure. We're going to do things a little bit differently. We got a lot of content to roll through. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't think I was supposed to mention this, but I don't really give a damn because this is the best group out there. Anyone that attends is actually going to be eligible for a pretty substantial discount if you are interested in the product that we are talking about. So we're going to give you plenty of information just for having your butt in the seat, but there will also be a substantial discount if you're interested in taking that further. So Tim, can't wait for this. What do you got for us today?
Well, let's just jump in. Let's start with the missing man. I'm going to file a missing persons report this morning, Ryan. And
Put an
it's
APB out, huh?
APB. Is where have they gone? And the APB is on corporate insider buyers.
No kid, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Gone out. Just
hang on.
not
Hang on.
there.
What's that?
They're not there. They're not active.
So I think that you joined right after this, but one of my news stories today was how, quote, insiders have rarely been this bearish because the selling spree by executives sweep across the S&P 500. So I'm so thrilled to hear that you say that this is one of the things that you're looking for. What do you got for us, man?
Well, look, I mean, it's insiders they're not buying, right? They're selling at a slightly above average rate. All right. It's not necessarily that we've seen this wave of selling. So the selling hasn't stopped and the insiders are just gone. They're looking around. And remember, insiders at heart are value investors. All right. Even in the techiest tech stocks, they're looking to buy when the stock sold off and they can get a price that they think gives them an entry point that's going to allow for, because first off, insiders do not give a crap about percentages. Okay. No insiders ever bought a stock saying, you know what, I bet you I can make 15, 20% on this stock over the next year. No, they're looking for 4, 5, 10, 100 baggers, right? So they're value investors. Now, you can say that AI is going to continue to power the market higher. You can say that eventually we're going to have lower interest rates and that will power the market higher. What you cannot say is this market's undervalued, because it's not by any stretch of the imagination. Now, when we see these overvalued markets and lack of insider buying, right? It's not like a chart pattern where you say that happens, you have to sell stocks now, go short. No, but it is you put it in there with the aggregate investor allocation to equities. You put it in with the excess yield on the CAPE yield, the CAPE ratio itself, market cap to GDP. It's just another indicator that we are really, 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 and I'm going to throw in an extra really late stage here. Okay. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have some big meltdown or crash. There's lots of different ways, but returns are likely to stall out here for the indexes. Okay. So you go all the way back, and I went back about as far as I've got reliable data for everything. In the late 1990s, we saw this start to play out, and it started to play out aggressively in 1999, where the insiders just closed their checkbook, they hid their wallet in the desk drawer, and they were done. They just were absolutely not buying. Markets were making new peaks every day. We were talking about eyeballs and clicks, not earnings and sales. And we all know what happened. Insider selling just spiked to levels in mid 2000. Insiders were not buying. And really bad things happened after that. I don't know any other way to put that. I mean, the market dropped 50%. A lot of tech stocks went away forever. Stocks like Amazon even were dropping by 80 and 90%. It was a bloodbath.
Well, now on the other side of that Amazon drop was a buying opportunity. So I would think that at some point at the value guy in you has to get excited if asset prices reach a specific level.
Oh yeah, no, but what we can't say, Ryan, is just that Amazon is a buy because it's going to drop 90% and then recover from them, right? We've got to wait for that. Yes.
We got to say it's a buy after it's dropped 90%.
After it's dropped 90%. Right. And look, that was about as much fun as I've ever had. Because you had great companies trading for less than the value of cash on their books. Priceline comes to mind, with a single digit price, by the way. You had Amazon. Amazon was on Forbes' list Barron's list of companies that probably wouldn't survive. Their convertible bonds traded at 30 cents on the dollar. It was a layup. It was just like ridiculously easy call. Then 2006, 2007, we saw the same thing. Okay. Equities are going up, up, up. You're starting to see cracks in the world. The market cap to GDP hits what for then was a high. Stocks get to record highs in 2007. Everybody's excited except the corporate insiders. They just kind of walked away and said, nope, gonna sit this one out. Now, by the way, conversely, the insider buy-sell ratios were at historic buy levels in March, April 2009. So, insiders at extremes are they're worth watching, guys. Even if you're a day trader and don't really care about the long term stuff, well, hey, you're making a mistake if you're doing that. You should be doing both. But
I agree.
following the insiders, they're going to give you a tip. If they're done and they're staying away in droves, you should too. From the long side of things, you should start getting really cautious.
Real quick here, Tim. C-Dub is asking, did you start buying NVIDIA at $10?
Oh, well, since that's the ad for tonight's presentation, yeah, we did, but that was in 2016.
Okay, and Anthony with a kind of a smart-ass comment here. Let me get in my time machine. I just want to take a quick pause here. There's no need for a time machine, right, Tim? Because you're going to show us how to repeat this process tonight. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. When it comes to finding
no time machine needed, Anthony.
No, when it comes time to find the types of stocks that can provide those sorts of returns and when to buy them. But as far as looking in a rearview mirror with the insider stuff, you're absolutely right. There's a little bit of backward, looking here. However, the market may not always repeat, but it does rhyme. Stocks are overvalued and the people running the companies aren't buying. All right. That's just a fundamental basic that tells you stocks are a little peaky in here. Doesn't mean they got to stop. The conditions started in 99, started in 2006. Stocks kept going for a while. But if you tried to stay for the whole dance, you got a DUI on the way home.
I've never heard that before. That's a good one.
So, and then we saw it again after COVID, 2020. Insiders were buying aggressively. They were hammering stocks when everybody else was terrified to be a buyer. Get out towards late 2021, and all of a sudden, they close the checkbooks, hide the wallets. They're gone. They're just absolutely out. Because you remember, we had a great rally, right? Stocks just shot higher. The Shiller Cape ratio is up around 38, like where it is today. You've got a market cap to GDP that exceeded 200% in 2021. We're not quite to that level now. And it was a very thin advance with mega cap tech leading the indexes to, repeated new highs. Insiders decided that was a little rich for them, so they stepped aside and got out. So we are seeing almost no insider buying here. Now, look, insider selling can happen for a lot of reasons. We've talked about this. You can be selling it to diversify, for estate planning, to pay for a dream wedding, a dream divorce, put a kid through college, bail a kid out of jail, whatever it is. There's 1,000 reasons that you can be selling stock, right? You're having a midlife crisis and you got your eye on a Lamborghini. Lots of reasons for an insider to sell stock. Only one reason to buy. You think the stock is going a lot higher. Only one reason for everybody to stop buying kind of at the same time, because you don't think the stock's going a lot higher from this level. So it's just the latest in warning flags, right? And it's like, when you live the west coast of Florida, there's going to be a tropical storm next week. There's tropical storm looks like it might come close. Wait a minute, the tropical storm just got close. At some point, the warnings pile up and it's time to get in your car and get the hell out of there. Unless you're me and you have big dogs, so you just sit there and hope it doesn't hit the house.
Okay. Well, glad to see that you're still here.
Now, what you do want to watch for in conditions like this is if one insider selling, not a big deal. Lots of insider selling in a short period of time, big deal. So that naturally, I have the list of the stocks where we're seeing some of that. Stocks with insider cluster buying in the last month include Service Titan, that's TTAN, Dell, DELL, Broadcom, AVGO, CrowdStrike, CRWD, SoundHound AI, SOUN, and Toast, COST, Salesforce, CRM, Micron, MU, and then one that makes me go, okay, maybe we are going to see a slowdown. Korn Ferry, which is a staffing company, KFY. But
is it KAFY or KFY?
No, just KFY.
KFY, got it.
Yeah, but when you go down the list, there's insider selling in a wide range of companies, but these are seeing clusters, 3, 4, Service Titan 8, insiders have sold recently. It's 6 at Morgan Stanley, 4 at Broadcom just in the last month. So that's just kind of a red flag that makes me think if I'm going to play this, I'm playing it more from the short side than the long side.
Okay, real quickly here, I'm going to take a pause here. Anthony says, I feel like I have to be very careful buyer or seller of stocks right now at the moment. Tara agrees with that. Lion says in 2 or 3 weeks, a huge correction is coming. Joe saying, Tim is scaring me. It's making me think I need to sell everything today.
I don't know that you necessarily sell everything today. I think I'm cautious here buying stocks, 1,000%. I mean, you can buy certain momentum stocks as we're going to talk about tonight, because remember, this condition started in 2006, 1999, and before the market rolled over in 2021. The market can continue to go higher. This is a caution flag. I might be tightening my stops up. I'm not opposed to buying calls on some of the triple levered inverse.
Well, here's the so tightening your stops and not buying triple levered derivative products is not the same as running for the exits. So and I'm not saying that you're making it seem the same. Let's just be very clear. Yeah. Also, by the way, Marius Colossus, which might be one of the most baller YouTube handles I've ever seen. Normal market adjustment. It happens every time at this year.
There's a little bit of withdrawing from insiders because it is earnings season. Normal market adjustments, no, not for insiders to do this. No. This is an extreme reading on the insider buy sell ratio. So it's not just kind of a normal adjustment. Now, I don't profess to know whether the stock market's going to keep going up over the next 6 months, right? I have a suspicion that it's going to. However, and you should always do this anyway, particularly in your longer term portfolio. Go through your companies. Are they still doing the things that you bought them for? Right? Are they still growing at a certain rate? I'm big on fundamental momentum. If my company is still showing great sales growth, great earnings growth, margins are getting better, analysts are raising their estimates, I'm intend to stay with that. Okay. But I'm real selective when I buy anyway. If you're looking at a stock and it's not checking all the boxes, just stay out. How do I infer the level of inside activity aside from news? Joseph, there's Fed filings. They have to file a form when they sell insiders, when they sell stock. Okay, Brian could show you on Benzinga Pro how to track that. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, really quickly here, you just click on the insiders tab and it will list all of the different transactions, selling, right, buying, the delta, how much, who it is, the position, the whole 9 yards.
Right. And you see all that grant and tax, yep, and everything. Ignore that. It doesn't matter. Most people screw this up. Okay. They'll look at this and go, hey, look here, it's green. They just buy it. No, they were given stock. Cost base is 0. Okay. They didn't. What matters is a buy or a sell.
I'm glad you said that, Tim, because Benzinga Pro, with just a few clicks of a mouse, of course, allows you to filter that, so we can only look at the important ones. Right. Just FYI.
So this is critically important. 98% of the insider reports that you see are, that word. Okay. Okay. Southern droppings of a northbound mule. All right. That's what they are. Because they don't make this distinction. You've got to actually read and process the Form 4. Pro does that for you. All right. Indeed. And then once you've got the filings, there's several programs around that will compute an insider buy sell ratio. So that's how you get the level of activity. So, all right, how much time have I burned? Not that much.
You haven't burned any. We have been using time. We have been converting the time energy into money energy here this morning. That's how it's done, Tim.
That's what we always try to do. All right. Next up, KKR came out with their mid-year outlook. All right. Now, KKR's Henry McVeigh, their chief kind of macroeconomist, almost always has a variant perception. He and Torsten Slok of Apollo are economists for large private equity firms. They see things different than government and Wall Street economists. Government and Wall Street economists are getting reports, they're getting surveys, they're reading data in an office in Midtown Manhattan or inside the Beltway on K Street in Washington, D.C. KKR and Apollo are large private equity firms. They are actively involved in running businesses all over the world. They're buying and selling real estate. They're borrowing money. They're lending money. They're active in the credit markets. They've got their fingers and feet in just about every aspect of the business and economy all over the world. They're seeing things that other economists don't see. They also both have a tremendous track record of being right a lot. So I kind of tend to pay attention. And McVeigh and his team, it's at kkr.com. You can access this. It takes you a while to read it. So I thought I'd come in and just share some of the insights. They do a tremendous job. They put out a quarterly and an annual, and it's just, they're really good about sharing information. Now, that's mainly so that you'll put some money in their private equity fund. However, we can take advantage of it. Okay. This year's mid-year is called Make Your Own Luck. And they're suggesting that you need to be a little bit more cautious than just passive investing. You need to kind of be forging your own path. And they point out that, look, this year we've had a lot of surprises in the market. I mean, if you'd said in January that we were going to have the type of events we saw Liberation Day with tariffs, that would be in a tariff war, that we would bomb Iran, than just some of the other, crazy things that have already happened this year, that Moody's would downgrade the debt, that we'd get permanent tax cuts, that DeepSeek would come out and say, hey, you know what? We can do what you do, but we don't use any energy or spend any money. So there's been a lot of curveballs, good and bad, on both sides thrown at the market. And the market's momentum is so strong, it just doesn't care. Now, KKR kind of looks at this and says, well, look, keep in mind the backdrop here. Financial conditions, if you look at like the National Financial Conditions Index, M2 supply and everything, we've been in an easy money condition for a while now. We haven't really come out of one. Then you look at the underpinnings of the market, not issuing a lot of debt, not issuing a lot of high yield bonds, levered loans, strong stock buybacks out there. So the underlying cash flow technicals and financial cash flows are actually really supportive of higher stock prices here. You've also got a slow grinding kind of asynchronous recovery in global economies going on. So all of this is supportive and is helping the market ignore all the noise that's going on out there. And then the other point that they make is something that I've hollered about almost continuously. Okay. And that is that individuals and corporations are in great shape, right? When you hear somebody say that household balance sheets are blowing up and mortgage defaults have tripled and we've borrowed too much money and everybody's going to go broke, smack them and walk away. They don't know what they're talking about. All right. They've never actually read the data. Household consumer debt service ratios are about as low as they've ever been. Corporate balance sheets are about as strong as they've ever been. There's one class of people all over the world who have borrowed too much damn money. It's governments. So, but corporations and people actually in pretty good shape here. Again, a strong underpinning to the market. Now, they are concerned about the dollar, right? And we're going to have inflation. KKR actually agrees with me. This is how you know they're smart. They agree with me. It's going to be really hard to do this tariff policy that we've adopted without higher pricing and higher inflation. You saw it in GM's report. You've seen it in Walmart's report. Look, prices are going to be higher. Now, is we talking 1970s level higher? I don't think so. I mean, you keep in mind that imports are about a little bit less than 15% of our GDP. So even a 20% tariff on 15%, it's not terminal, right? But we are going to have some higher inflation. The financial markets are very worried about the deficits in the debt. Okay, so that is still going to kind of be an issue, and they don't think it's going to be in the long end of the bond market like a lot of people do. Ryan, they think it's the dollar. Okay. And this goes in with a couple other things that we've read recently, that the dollar is probably 15 to 20% at least overvalued. Now, some of the geniuses on the internet think the dollar is going to absolute zero. And I don't know, we're going to use rocks or bitstones or whatever the hell it is. But that's not going to happen. Okay. The dollar is going to fall, however, which actually sets up some great trades. Okay. So let me throw out a couple closed end funds that invest in emerging market and secondary and other foreign economies, where you can capture a really high yield with a pretty decent margin of safety. And this will all just get better. The yields will go up and the valuations will go up if the dollar continues to fall. So FAX is Asian area bonds. There's Indonesia. There's some Vietnamese paper in there. There's some Australian papers.
What ticker? Sorry.
FAX.
FAX. Okay.
This is
I
the
thought you
Asian.
said facts, as in these are facts.
No, sorry. This is the Asian Pacific Income Fund. Been around forever. Currently yielding 12.3%. Then you've got BWG. This is actually an old Legg Mason fund. Brandywine Global Income Opportunities. And again, 11.47% yield. And then EDD, which is a Morgan Stanley Emerging Markets Domestic Debt Fund. Now, this is a cool fund. It's been around forever. They hold the bonds in domestic currency, not dollars. So, if they buy a Vietnamese bond, they don't buy a Vietnamese dollar bond. They buy a Vietnamese bond in whatever the Vietnamese currency is these days, and they hold it. So as the dollar depreciates, that gets more valuable. So EDD currently yielding about 11.32%. So all of these incomes paid, in cash, they're major beneficiaries of a declining dollar.
Okay. So I got FAX, BWG, and EDD. I got the complete list there, right? I want to give it to the chat.
Yep. And they go on to say, and again, it's amazing how smart these guys at KK are. I mean, I think they read me. I really do. They must be reading my stuff because we're in alignment on a lot of things. They love Japan. So do I. They love Europe. By the way, I heard y'all. I know you're talking about factory automation a little bit earlier. And do you guys know that the leading automation stocks, factory automation, are all Japanese? All the leading robotics companies.
I did not know that, but honestly, after hearing you say that, I'm really not all that surprised.
Yeah, this is another area, and this is something that is becoming increasingly a theme for me, particularly on the momentum side of the house. We are so far behind in robotics and drones, right? That are key areas where we must catch up. So this is going to become a question of who do we partner with, or where do we spend the money? Because we're too far behind. I'm kind of shocked and glad that Japan could have played this card in the trade talks and they didn't do it. So that means they're open to maintaining that relationship, and maybe we can, borrow some robot manufacturing capability from them, or they'll move some of theirs here. But so anyway, Japan, big on Europe. I'm still very, very big on Europe in spite of recovery that we've seen there. But they had some really cool investment themes, and I want to touch on that before I make my way out of here today. One that I absolutely love, they love collateralized loan obligations, BBB, double B liabilities. This is high quality, high yield. We love the whole double B segment. You can play it through BNDS, which is an ETF yielding about 8%. Bear with me one second here, because there is the Eldridge B to B, triple B ETF is also out there. The symbol CLOZ. High quality, high yield is this really cool segment of the market that we think is going to do fantastic because the credit quality is outstanding compared to other high yield bonds. Default rates are absolutely minimal, and they're going to do very well when we finally do start to see some rate cuts. And it's going to be a while before we get rate cuts. Different discussion, way too big a rabbit hole for today. So you've got time to kind of accumulate these positions on any volatility in the bond market. But then they came out and they said, listen, we're really big on unloved parts of the market. And what they three that they specifically said: housing adjacent, housing services. And when you look at like HOUS, DOUG, COMP, these are areas of the housing and real estate markets where, you know what, there's some massive opportunity in here. As housing's a mess, right? Affordability is terrible. Mortgage rates, they're not really high in a historical sense, but they're a lot higher than everybody's used to.
Yeah.
There's not enough inventory because old people like me don't feel like moving again. So we're just going to stay in our house. And 60%, well, let's call it 50% at least of all houses have a mortgage 4% or under. So
I'm in that camp. I'm actually
Yeah.
under 3.
yeah, it takes a lot of incentive out. Why would you want to move if you don't have to move? So
I'm with you. I mean, my big thing is that for me moving, if I want to, buy more house, I'm basically going to eat up all of my buying ability by moving from a 2.625 rate to a 6.5% rate. Right. Like that eats up a lot of the slack of more house that I can buy. Really quickly on the housing thing, we saw, I know you just listed several stocks there. We saw a number of other stocks move recently, namely DR Horton, which reported earnings yesterday that were not all that great. Stock traded up 17%. It's up almost another 1% here today. Stocks like Rocket went like crazy yesterday. UWMC traded higher.
They're floating the idea of doing away with capital gains tax on houses.
And that's for investment, right? Because you already, if you live in your house 2 of the 5 years, you already are exempt from that.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, whoa, this is good news. I mean, this opens
Let me ask you on the flip side of that, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here because it's fun and I like doing that, Tim.
Yeah.
If you said it's good, isn't that actually net bad for first-time home buyers? Because in people with all types of money, companies, corporations, investment corporations, they're going to come in and swoop these houses up. You already just highlighted the supply issue that we have. Now we're going to have people buying these houses for investment purposes instead of people that are living in them.
Of existing houses, what this is going to do is create a wave of new home building. They solved the problem. We talked about this problem on the show one day, right? And this has been the big problem with housing supply. If I'm a home builder, Toll Brothers, DR Horton, doesn't matter who it is, I make a ton of money building a McMansion and selling it for $800,000. Okay. I make a technical term. Let me look it up here in my finance dictionary. Doodly squat on a $250,000 home for a first-time buyer. Okay. But I went through all the same zoning hoops, all the same regulatory hoops. I went through all the same crap to build the small house as I did the big house. No incentive there at all. I've got incentive now.
Right? Interesting. Tim, I also highlighted Toll Brothers here, ticker TOL, got a buy rating from an upgrade to a buy rating from Seaport Global here. $161 price target. It's currently $129. So it looks like there are some other folks that see opportunity in some of the home builders, and particularly the luxury home builders. You're just talking about McMansions.
Yeah, and EKS makes a very good point in the chat.
He makes a lot of good points.
First-time home buyer age is now 42 years old. That's asinine. Okay, 42 years old. That used to be like 26, 27, 28 years old, right? This is going to bring new inventory into the housing market. It'll do something for the upper end of the market. But remember something: if you don't have first-time buyer and first-time move-up, you create a log jam, which is something of what we've seen. You've got to have inventory down there because you buy a house, you move up once. In order to move up that third time, right? There's got to be somebody to come in and buy your house. So we've got to create inventory and get affordability more reasonable. And I think this bill, anytime you put tax incentives into a sector, all of a sudden a lot of problems go away. It's amazing.
Funny how that works.
Funny how that works. And then India is the other one, because India is China without the communism. They've got the build anything, burn anything approach to electricity. They've got the massive population. What you have to watch with India is they've got this fast growing GDP, right? But if you put it on a GDP per capita basis, it really looks like it's not good. So a lot of people, lots of room to grow. So India is starting to kind of get their act together. And then one of the other unloved parts of the market that they touched on, and I actually really am starting to like this one a lot, as deeply a fan of carbon-based fossil fuel energy as I am, we've thrown renewable on the trash heap. Big mistake. Renewable is still over 90% of new generation assets in the United States. The right energy policy is use everything. Okay. Rooftop solar, industrial scale solar, all going to be a part of eventual energy solutions. We need to get politics out of energy completely.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, no, I know we should be using pretty much everything, but um, solar's going to be with us. It's still going to be the fastest growing source of new generation assets. So solar and a lot of these stocks are getting down to a point where we're going, that's really getting interesting. It's probably going to get more interesting. So I'm not running out to buy all the solar stocks just yet. But I think if we saw a steep sell off in the broad market, I'd have to start looking at, and this what I'm about to say is real important, the solar companies with great credit profiles.
So let me ask you, would you go after individual companies that meet your criteria, or would you consider looking at something like TAN, the solar ETF, where you don't have individual company exposure?
Depends on your exposure. I mean, yes, I see your point. I like the ETFs, but I absolutely, I'm a fan of laser focused. If I could get, a few years ago, we bought First Solar, great company, great credit profile. It was trading below book, below tangible book. So I was like, I don't care what you make. If you got good credit and you're trading below book value, you could be making dresses for men. I don't really care what your product is at that point. I'm buying your stock because you can be liquidated at a profit. Okay. The key is the credit profile. So that's that. Now you said something really interesting. That good luck getting the energy out of the politics out of energy. KKR's one overriding statement that they said is learn to live with this. Politics are going to be in everything. That things like Liberation Day, like Brexit, they went all the way back and got politics, capital flows, trade flows, technology flows. This is all part of the equation. It's not going away. Right? Politics is going to continue to be a much bigger market factor than it has been in years past. This is the most political the markets have been in my career. Okay. There have been periods with bursts where there was some, political headlines. This is every single day, and people are trading off of it. But trade flows, national security, technology, access, this is all going to become a big part of the geopolitical future going forward, and we have to deal with it. Okay, one more, Ryan, then I got to get out of here because 13's coming on. This is huge. Write this one down. Make it a part of your research effort. I don't care if you're trading in the minute span or the decade span. Worker retraining and automation are the next big things.
Yeah.
AI really is going to cut a lot of jobs. It's going to happen. Retraining is going to be massive. We're overloaded in this country on middle management and undersupplied on trades, and healthcare. So the companies that are providing trade education and healthcare, UTI, LRN, right in there. The companies that are doing technology education, SKIL, UDMY, all right at the top. The factory automation thing, with automating everything. Now that the geniuses are finally figuring out that robots do not have to have two legs like people, and you can use little square robots on running tracks, I think progress will start to speed up quite a bit.
Yeah, that's great too, because those can't chase you if they turn on you. So that's really helpful.
Actually, they can, unfortunately, but robots are the wave of the future. AI is the wave of the future. It's going to change the employment picture. Retraining opportunities are going to be massive. And those that do it for profit are going to do it better than the government assisted institutions.
Indeed.
that's
that much
just
we
the
know
world.
already.
That look, that's a gimme, right? Now, if they would just make worker retraining companies not pay any income taxes, we get this all done in fairly short order. So, anyway, I've taken up too much time. I've got other stuff to cover dealing with real estate, but we can get to that next week. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, guys. So please be sure you drop in. Be Ryan, Anne Marie, and myself. It'd be highly educational and informative. So I hope I see you there tonight at 6 o'clock, I believe it is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're going to be, that's 6 o'clock Eastern, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to have fun tonight. And like I said earlier, folks, it's a free presentation. It's free to join. All you have to do is get your butt in the seat and you will get value from it. But on top of that, we're going to have a sale for you. And you're going to be able to get access to these picks in real time. So, Tim, really good stuff. Thanks a lot. Really looking forward to doing this webinar with you later. Do me a favor. Have a great day in between so we can have a great evening.
Absolutely will, Ryan. I'll see you this evening. Thanks, everybody.
All right. That is Tim Melvin. Really good stuff from him. As always, definitely check the webinar out. This one is going to be fun. We've been kind of doing these webinars the last several months. Really kind of just focusing on what we're going to cover, listening to what the viewers want. And this one should be the culmination of that. So really looking forward to that. Thank you, Tim. Let's go ahead and say hi to 13. 13, how are you here today?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a good evening.
I bet you are. I bet you are. 'Tis the season to be squeezing. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. Whether it be your main squeeze or a short squeeze, it is the season.
Oh, that was good. I didn't see that one coming. All right. What do you want to do first here? You want to do some movers? Just get those out of the way?
Get them out of the way.
Get it out of the way. All right. Now, this first one here, I took a look at this. When I first looked at this, I was like, "Oh man, this is a takeover. We got no trade here, blah blah blah." Nope, not the case. ABVX is your ticker. This is Abivax. Shares are trading higher after the company announced that obefazimod met all of its key secondary endpoints. JPM Securities raised its price target on the stock from 33 to 39. The stock is at 60 and a half here today. 60 and a half here today. Quick look around the horn on this one. 2.9% of the float shorted here with 5.71 days to cover. At days to cover comes on a volume of just under 500,000 shares. The float in this is 51.2 million. We've traded 6.5 million today. 50% institutional ownership on this name already. 13, what do you think here on ticker ABVX, our biggest mover and gapper of the day?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to keep going or not. This is a little scary of a move to go from, what was it, about $10 yesterday to 6 times that amount. This being on the 50 milligram dose of, I wrote it down wrong, so I don't even know if I want to pronounce it. Obefazimod. All right. Its key secondary endpoints. They also got that price target raised, like you mentioned. This was something that was available on their website for their monotherapy regimen. This is something that they had planned to read out in this quarter, and they are also planning to do another readout in Q2 of 2026 regarding their maintenance top line or trial top line, because what they're planning to do is stepping this dosage down from 50 to 25 milligrams for their 3rd and 5th years of maintenance treatment. So that's the plan with the company. It seems like they have about a quarter of cash. I don't really have great financials, and that's likely because this is a French company. So get a little bit of different filings with them. I don't have, so like I said, I don't have great information on their financials. So don't know if they're going to need to raise capital any point soon. But this is about all I've got on ABVX, and I don't know how I'm going to even think about trading this because I don't have a lot of chart data to go on unless I'm looking down at around $10 or less. So the price action that we've had in the after hours yesterday and the pre-market this morning is all I've got to go on, really. And seems like $60 is about where the price is kind of oscillating around.
Yep, 60 and a half here. Real quick, I have to highlight one of the comments here. Izzy, good morning, Diamond Guy. You guys all laughed, and I gave you Donut, 13 and Ryan yesterday. Actually, if you roll the tape back, that's not what happened. We talked about a potential Costco catalyst that we could not find in the news. And then I made a joke about heart attack rings, which is what drew the laughter. Nonetheless, your D-Nut call was good, and we're going to cover that next. So I think we might as well just kind of segue into that one here, if that's okay with you, 13. I don't know why this isn't loading, though.
Did we actually find out why it started moving this time?
Oh, shoot. Hang on. I think I've got an issue here with my charts. Give me a sec. We will do D-Nut next. Do you have anything on this that you can go over? I guess I can try. Let's see.
It looks like
help me out here, man.
The only piece of news that I see that's new to my eyes is that Krispy Kreme and Crocs are collaborating for the first time on a new limited edition classic clog. I believe, I mean, I don't wear Crocs, but I think the clogs are those little things that you push into the toe area of the shoe, little, I guess bedazzle attachments, if you will. Anybody that uses the Crocs, you tell me if that's what that is. But that's the only other piece of news that I see, is that they're collaborating with Crocs. If you have more information on that, Izzy, let me know, because I didn't see this coming. And I didn't expect to see such a big move on a collaboration for a part of a shoe.
Okay, sorry, I'm still trying to deal with this here. Let me see if I can. I don't know what the heck happened here.
No, you're right, Crow. He was the first on that. That's and I was wondering, because I thought that I saw that Costco and Krispy Kreme already had some kind of deal going on where they were selling their donuts. Now I don't know that they're necessarily opening a Krispy Kreme in Costco to go in their little food court area, but this is not the news I was expecting. So let me know how we want to, how do you want to look at this news? Because I don't know that this kind of price action is justified for a collaboration for a classic cog. I just don't see it. Now Bob, that's a good point. D-Nut down 83% since 2021. So there may be some bottoming here in this as well, which is always possible. Here, let me look at the chart. It seems like I'm having some chart issues too.
Yeah, I'm working on it here. Something literally just happened as I clicked on that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's if McDonald's is going to be carrying Krispy Kreme. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, like I said, I think this was just a temporary hiccup. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, but I'm trying to get the donut chart up here. So here's D-Nut.
Yeah.
So here's D-Nut. So, okay. So a couple of things. We were not able to confirm any of that, right? We were not able to confirm whether or not there was any type of Costco deal or anything like that. Here's where we are on Krispy Kreme. Obviously, we had a huge move yesterday. This took us above the 100-day moving average. I got to be honest with you. We're right at the top end of a consolidation area back from March. We're about $1.25 shy of the 200 here. I wouldn't even be surprised if the $7 level is on deck here for today.
Yeah, I could see
personally.
7, and then it coming right back in. I see how the appeal of this move would happen. It's been selling off. It's kind of bottomed. It's trying to turn around. But this news, I just don't feel the greatest about it. It doesn't seem like it's that strong. That's just me, though. I guess I need something more convincing, because we're talking about a limited edition shoe cog here.
D-Nut here, percent of float shorted 26.35% with 6 days to cover. So this just absolutely meets our short squeeze criteria.
Yeah, I think that's
crispy
really
Crocs.
Yeah, crispy Crocs. There you go. Hey, Croc will be looking crispy after you stick that thing in your shoe. But D-Nut, I think it's more the short interest than anything else. But this little piece of news, I guess that was all that needed to send it. But Izzy, if there's more to this than just the collaboration with Crocs, let me know, because I'm having a hard time believing that there's going to be a lot to this.
Okay, let me go back to the movers list here. Let's see if that's.
Yeah, Matt, that makes more sense.
Yeah, this was just a temporary hiccup there. Okay, perfect. All right. Anything else on D-Nut? This 6 level just immediately kind of jumps off the page. Again, I do think 7 is possible. We'll see what happens here. I'm just going to keep going down the list, right?
Sounds good.
All right, next here is going to be PAPL. This is Pineapple Financial common stock. This actually popped yesterday morning, it looks like, traded sideways all day. Here we go again today on much higher volume. Stock is up 155%. Don't see any news on this stock, so it seems to be running on no news catalyst. A quick look around the horn on this one. 1.2% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average volume of 3.7 million. It's traded 16.3 million here today. I don't have a float reading on this, though. Let me see if I can grab one from Know the Float.
It is 695,000 shares.
Oh, so this is micro float then. 695,000. Interesting. So here, and this is on PAPF, Pineapple Financial. So here are my readings. Yahoo, 3.75 mil. Finviz, 3.67 mil. Wall Street Journal, 3.67 mil. And Dilution Tracker, 4.3 mil.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, these are all pretty close, but still 13. That's still a pretty low figure.
Yeah.
I still think this can get moved around here today. Do you have any thoughts on this one with no news?
Well, they do have earnings in 2 weeks, and the amount of insider buying has piqued interest. I mean, if you just look at the insider buying tab, it is nothing but people picking this up. So
Sorry,
took
me a sec there. This is really kind of timely because we just had Tim telling us about how there's just insider sales all over the place. Well, we've just given you one that kind of bucks that trend. So put this one on your watch list. Ticker PAPL. Excuse me.
There's nothing but insider buys. That's all this is. Just buy, and it's been going on since last year. So I don't know. And it just had a massive, move all of a sudden. So I don't know if there's this buying up in anticipation of these earnings that we have in 2 weeks, or if there's some other piece of news coming. But as you pointed out, there's no news. But I think somebody knows something. And with the insider buying, I'm wondering if it's one of those insiders.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, just in this month alone, I know we're 23 days into this month, but just in this month alone, I've seen 5 different buys here, all from Kendall Martin. Mm-hmm. And Kendall Martin is your COO. Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting.
No read on their financials. This, I don't know how long this company's been around, but it doesn't give any information on their balance sheet or their incomes. So sorry, I don't have anything on that.
Okay, no problem. Next one here is going to be ANEB, ANEB. This is a new Ambulo Pharmaceuticals. I think that's how you pronounce it. Ambulo Pharmaceuticals shares are trading higher after the company announced a reverse stock split with a ratio of at least 1 for 2,500. I mean, are you kidding me?
No, they're going private. So what they're planning to do is they're going to do a 1 for 2,500 to 1 for 7,500 reverse split. They haven't decided yet.
And a cash out, go private offer. Here you go.
Yes. So they're going to basically pay all the stockholders of Commons $350 pre-reverse split. So they're going to do the reverse split after, and then the price really reflected from 350, but that's why you're seeing this. The price gets kind of stuck around 350. I don't really think there's a trade here.
Yeah, I don't either. If they're going to do a cash out, go private deal at 350 and the stock's at 325, I think we got better stuff to deploy capital at. So,
I don't think. Yeah, so I don't think there's.
Nick looks here. Like Nick's on that same thing.
Yeah, he is big time. Yep.
Okay. Really good. Also, really quick, we've talked a little bit about squeezes. Jay here with a really good warning. Don't overstay the move in Donut and G-Pro. Moves usually don't last for more than a few days. Take a look at Open if you need a reminder of that. That goes for all of the meme stocks and whatever other meme stonks end up on this list here. Jay's absolutely right. Get your money and get out and be happy that your pockets are fatter.
Yeah, I think that's especially true for DNET because, like I was saying earlier, I just don't get the move related to the news. I don't think that news is that great. So, but it started the short squeeze, so that's probably what it is. Just that one catalyst it needed, that little tiny bone being thrown to it that gives it the whole skeleton.
Speak of the devil, here's G-Pro. This is the 4th ticker on the movers list. And I don't really think, first of all, there's no news here. What's going on? This is part of the short squeeze. Now, from what I understand, there are posts about this stock and DNUT on Wall Street Bets Reddit thread. Am I getting that right? I'm not a big Redditor, and I only seem to get notifications from the What Is This Reddit thread, which is actually an entertaining one, and the Cat Help Reddit thread, which is something on its own. So you guys will have to confirm for me if Wall Street Bets is on these two. It seems like that's the case. We are seeing more short squeeze action here. This thing just ramped in the after hours. It's actually held the pre-market here today. Took another leg up on volume when retail traders were able to trade the pre-market session here today. A quick reminder of the short interest on this one, 9.43% as of the most recent read. Perhaps this has drawn more shorts in, but considering some of the other short squeeze potentials that we've seen, this one actually a lower percent of float shorted here, 2.13 days to cover, and on average stock trades 4.4 million. Today we've traded 60 million plus already. Float 129 million, so it'll trade thick. What do you think on this one, 13?
So yeah, we don't have any news today, but there's something interesting that I saw that happened earlier this month, that GoPro won an initial ITC ruling against Insta360, is a Chinese company for hero design, and they won that suit. But they're not. They basically won that suit, but they're not going to have a final ruling on it until November 10th. So that's when they get the final decision handed down by the court. So I think that is a date that we're going to want to watch for GPro. This could be another one where this move goes up and then comes right back in, because I don't know if it's going off this news or not. But when I look back at the day that this news was announced, the stock didn't do anything. It hardly moved. This was July 11th, and I didn't see any movement really as a result. Maybe that happened in the pre-market and we just didn't see it, but it was very muted that day. So I'm wondering if this is just a little bit of a really late reaction to that by almost 2 weeks, or if there's something else that we're just not seeing yet. But regardless, GoPro November 10th, that might be a day where the stock gets movement because of the final decision as a result of that lawsuit.
That is really interesting. And actually, I know this is kind of out of left field here, but Ryan, with an interesting thought, I think GoPro is going to transition into drones. Just a gut feeling. You know what, though, Ryan?
It makes so much sense, though.
This makes a ton. I don't think this is outlandish at all. I mean, you're strapping a camera that has, pretty good durability to your helmet. Why not strap it to an unmanned aircraft and fly it around? A GoPro drone? I mean, that doesn't sound like a terrible idea. I kind of wish I had thought of that myself, but you have such a good name. I'll just take credit for it. LOL. All right. Really quickly here, Claw United was mentioning that he called GoPro. Claw, you're in the right spot here because the chat community here consistently calls winners on a regular basis. Thanks for joining the crowd. But he also says, Ryan, take a look at Wendy's stock. So 13, I hope you don't mind, but I'm actually going to jump down the movers list because lo and behold, ticker WEN is there, and oh my God, it is currently going from 6 to midnight right here. This is up $1.35 in the last 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm guessing that there's no piece of news on this. There was an earlier PR here. There's nothing happy about this meal. Wendy's and Netflix Wednesday cook up a meal of misfortune. I don't think that's what's driving the stock right now. Let's take a look at the short interest. 14.74% of the float shorted with 2.42 days to cover. Some of you that are on Reddit, let me know if Wendy's is getting tossed around now.
Well, this meal of misfortune is, so the Netflix show Wednesday is coming out with season 2, and that's what this is regarding. So it's a promo. That's what the meal of misfortune is. It's a promo that they're doing to promote Wednesday season 2 through Wendy's. Does that make sense? Wednesday.
What is so meal of misfortune? What is this going to be about? Meal of misfortune.
I mean, you got Wednesday and Wendy's. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a promo. That's why it's up here.
Okay, I don't know what this is. We'll see what this ends up doing. The reality, though, is that right now the stock is ripping, and it does have high short interest.
And I don't care about it because I've tried watching it. It's okay, but a lot of people like the Wednesday TV show. So I guess the thought is that this will get more people to buy more Wendy's, especially if there's some kind of like special item or sauce or something. You remember how crazy people went off over the Szechuan sauce?
Yeah, I do actually. Here, producer saying with 2 mystery dipping sauces in each meal, only fate will decide which one of the 4 dips.
So one will kill you and one won't. Okay.
Oh man, I just love having fun. Sideshow letting us know that he had a double stack the other day. Good stuff there. And then Jay Rice, sympathy play to Wendy's here, ticker Jack, Jack. That's a good mention, Jay. That might be one to keep on watch. We could be early on that if that does start to pick up.
Yeah, haven't restaurants. It seems like restaurants have been really picking up lately.
Kush League says, I'm going to work at Wendy's when the crash appears. That's funny.
This makes me want to look at Dave & Buster's and see how they've been doing, because the restaurants we were looking at for a while ago, and they started going on a bit of a move here back in May and June. Dave & Buster's went up. They're still above their 200-day SMA. So it seems like restaurants are starting to get a lift again.
Okay, how much we got? 6 minutes here. Here's D-Nut. We already kind of looked at this. I don't really think there's a whole lot to go into. We've outlined the short interest. We've outlined what's going on. 6 is a key level here. 7 would be the next after that. IOVA is also on the list, movers list here, and this has a catalyst. Iovance biotherapeutic shares are trading higher as Chardon Capital maintained a buy rating on a stock. Just really quickly for some context on that, if we take a look at the analyst ratings tab here, that Chardon Capital gave it a $25 price target. The stock is $3.91. Right, there's another price target here from Mizuho from May. That's $10. That's still more than double from where we're at. And Wainwright has a $20 target on it, it looks like. Goldman Sachs and UBS a little bit more in line there with Barclays. But anyway, Iovance Therapeutics, ticker IOVA. This ramped yesterday, ramping a little bit more steeply here this morning. Looks like it's testing for, unable to hold above it. This too, though, 31.74% of the float shorted here, and that comes with 9 days to cover. So this also has some short squeeze potential. Float here, real thick, 305 million, just about, and on average, stock trades 15 million. So any thoughts on this one?
Oh, sorry. I was kind of looking up something that Jay had brought up. I didn't know we were still doing movers. I'm sorry. I don't have anything on this.
You're good. You're good.
IOVA.
It's quite all right. It's fine. This is another short squeezer. It's moving here. I did want to highlight a couple of things real quick. There was a comment here that relates. New advert says GoPro used to have a drone called Karma, and it failed really bad. Well, I would hope that maybe they learn lessons from that and the next drone won't fail. Izzy here saying, my friends have been strapping GoPros to drones for 5 years. Well, what if GoPro just made a better drone? And then it's just done automatically for them. What do you think about that, Izzy?
What if a drone company acquires GoPro?
Oh, now 13. Now you're thinking. Okay. All right.
But I was taking a look at Wendy's. I'm sorry, not Wendy's, Cake, because we were talking about restaurants, and I mentioned Play, and Jay had said Cake is at all-time highs, and he's right about that. I think it seems like we're almost about to hit the 2017 or break over the 2017 high, and then make the all-time highs. But the question I have here is, how much are we putting into this, what seems to be a triple top here? If you look at the weekly chart, this is the third visit up here for Cake.
There you go. So this is a key spot for sure.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think this is going to break out finally, or are we going to reverse just like we did last time? Stock's been on a bit of a tear lately. So any thoughts?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say we break it today. There's a lot of craziness going on. Markets at all-time highs. People are off sides because they thought the world was ending and they were straight up wrong. I'm going to say Cake goes higher here today, even if it's not justified. Let's see if this is easy for me to say. Full disclosure, I have no position on this. So if I'm wrong, I'm just going to get made fun of from you folks and not actually going to lose money. So factor that in here. But I'll go ahead and say that Cake breaks higher. What are we saying? 66, 67? What are we thinking here? What's the actual level?
I would just say let's call it 67 is the
okay,
high.
Perfect. We'll call it 67. We'll see if Cake ends up breaking that to the upside. Okay. Really quick, Tommy saying, has anyone else had trouble with toss charts loading slowly, or is it my internet? It is not your internet. There was another user here saying that they had trouble with toss charts, and if you were around about 5 or 10 minutes ago, you saw me have trouble with my charts here in Pro, and you know what the common thread is? both my company, sorry, this company and Thinkorswim both use a company called DX Feed for some of their chart data. They had a bit of a hiccup. So you saw it in two different charts here. Has nothing to do with your internet connection. You look good to go. And actually, they had that resolved in under 3 minutes. So, I understand there was a chart issue. It was very, very brief. Let's cross our fingers that was all we saw here today. Okay, 13. We've got less than a minute here. I'm just going to go to the main workspace, and we're going to get this rolling.
Sounds good. Getting a question about how ABVX responds to the open. Might push higher. We're above VWAP, and we haven't really done a whole lot since yesterday. I think initially we would pop higher, and then we might come back in a bit. It's just been a very over, I don't want to say overdone because I didn't get a good idea what their financials look like. But this seems like a really outsized move to me. I feel like it. I feel like it would have to come back in.
Okay.
You
might. I mean, this stock is up 530%. Yeah. I think you might see some profit takers. I don't even think I'm really going out on a limb on that one.
I would think so.
I would, if it were me. Just saying.
I would think so too.
Cat came in here and screamed at me, and then he walked away. So,
all right. Well, he said it's 5 seconds. So
yeah, he gave me the warning, and now the market's open here, and we are off. Here we go, folks.
All right. So pushing higher, ABVX. And there's 65. Let's see if we get a pull.
Netflix, big pull here out of the open. Big pull. 1183 as that thing pulls from 1197. Apple at the pre-market lows on a pull. Costco continuing to pull back here.
All right. Just kind of watching these names. It looks like PAPL might get going here. A little thin on the stock.
Here we go.
A little liquid, kind of spready.
Well, here's Wendy's. Wendy's pulling back. This is retraced about half of that pre-market move here. We're sitting right on the 9 EMA on the 5, so we'd really want that to hold here. I think. See if Wendy's gets rolling here.
Like Rocket Lab dropped out just before the open, found a 200 EMA, and then popped back up and completely engulfed that.
RKLB, huh?
Yeah, just something I had on my screen here.
Lion says Google is looking good. Lion, let me ask you, are you trading Google for the earnings print here today? I know you like Google long term, but I'm more specifically asking, are you taking a trade here for earnings? This thing has been great. The swing trade on Google was an easy one, frankly, and it was a pretty big winner. Google here testing 192.50. Let me know if you're taking this here for earnings. If anyone is, I'd like to know.
DNET getting hammered. ABVX came back in a little bit, but not breaking down quite yet. Trying to hold above VWAP.
Really quickly regarding Krispy Kreme, let me know, do you folks like that glazed with the chocolate on top, or do you like just the classic glazed donut from Krispy Kreme? Let me know what the feelings are on that. That to me is going to determine whether I buy or sell the stock. Just kidding. Is he saying, Ryan, if Google is good, Amazon will rip? Okay. And then Rhett saying Rocket, a nice run up. Rocket pulling back here with the rest of these short interest stocks here. So Rocket pulling right out of the open. One of the big key things here we had on Rocket, let me go back to my bigger chart, because aside from the short squeeze catalyst that we're seeing here today, we actually had a long-term thesis on Rocket that has been playing out. And you're correct. The last several days here have been pretty good for Rocket. So let me actually pull that chart up here real quick, and I'll show you exactly what we mean. 13 and I and the rest of the group, frankly, have been charting this quite a bit. We really had 16 and 18 as some key levels here, and we closed above 16 yesterday. We're actually testing 20 in the pre-market on the short squeeze stuff. But keep an eye on this $18 level. And then also we drew a trend line yesterday that has us at about 1690. So I would expect some possible resistance in there for ticker RKT. Also worth noting here, the volume was super high. The volume was super high on DR Horton. We just talked to Tim about removing the capital gains tax on property sales and all of that. That could be huge for a lot of this stuff. So just some things to keep in mind with the rocket theme there.
DNUT trying to catch some support from the 65 EMA. PAPL is halted to the downside, about to test its 65 EMA. This might open and gap beneath that. GoPro coming down. I think I just maybe mentioned that. They're all coming down to their 65 EMAs right now.
Poly Ryzen, this actually had a pretty decent move out of the gate that the chat called yesterday. It actually went back to the intraday highs in the after hours, popping again here today to test up, ticker PLRZ.
Webull is getting mentioned here, ticker BULL. That did print higher at the open here, but it's coming back in. I think that as this gets to 18, it's going to run into a lot of sellers, because the last time it was up here, it's been a couple of days trying to push and hold over 18, was rejected, and that started its journey down to $10. So just keeping that in mind when we're looking at bull here. I think this first visit up to 18 not going to hold too well. I think that the next visit may perform better.
Okay, I actually think as far as trading action goes for the near term here for today, you get a substantial pull and hold on Webull. That actually might set up for a move higher. Dugan here, it's good to see you this morning. Congrats to us on that rocket trade. Dugan, let me ask you, are you lightening this at all yet? Because we did have this thesis out for a while in the future. Are you selling any and locking any of that in, or are you still kind of holding for seeing interest rate cuts? Let me know.
AEHR with some slow but nice movement out of the gate here, just straight up towards some of these resistance areas from yesterday. The high from yesterday was shortly out of the gate. 2182 was the high. We're at 2086 right now.
Okay. Dugan says, yes, I sold half before the FOMC. I've been selling half before the FOMC. Okay, good. Ring the register, Dugan. That was a great trade. We're actually still up quite a bit on that. The call, I don't know if you have the same calls, but just as a reminder there, the calls that I bought were the March 15s. I paid $150 per call. Those are $390 right now. So we're talking a massive, massive win on that.
I hope folks were heeding Jay Rice's suggestion there to probably not want to hold on to these things for too long. So far, DNUT and GoPro not having the greatest open here. Let's see if they can try to get some support from there. Oh, it looks like they're losing their 65 EMAs. Let's see if they can continue to get some support there. There's still 3 3/4 minutes left in these candles.
Also, Open Door. So this was another one that Jay had mentioned there. This one of the first of those to squeeze. This looks like we've got some more downside here, minus 17.5%.
Yeah, maybe it gets some support around 225, about where they're a little bit above where their 500-day SMA is.
ABVX, so much for the profit takers. This stock pushing higher right out of the open.
Yeah, that's something that it looked like it could do, but it hasn't really moved a whole lot out of the open. It is still holding above its VWAP. I don't know if it's the same for your chart, but it is still holding above VWAP. So that's the one positive thing about this right now, that it's keeping this up. I think if it loses VWAP, it's probably going to end up coming back into the consolidation from the pre-market.
Okay. Really good stuff. Izzy Scalp and Rocket. That might be in play all day, so that might be a pretty decent scalp target.
Somebody was mentioning that United Wholesale might be one of the next ones to move, because
here, let me put this on screen here, 13. Then I'm actually going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back. All right.
Okay, because there was some news of it on the what is it, on X or anyway, somebody was mentioning that. I don't get how you see a stock go 5x and not sell. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't have a whole lot of information on it, but hey, people think it's going higher, I guess. I just don't see it. But here we go. It's still holding above VWAP, still looking for more, higher prints. So I guess I would just say until it loses VWAP, there's always this potential for it to go higher. Now, you were looking at DNUT. It's not necessarily going crazy. It lost its 65 EMA. It's trying to recapture it. If it can't, then and I'd say it's coming down to 470 where the 200 is. DNUT going nut. Yes. Hey, thank you, Izzy. So United Wholesale Mortgage, what are you seeing there? I mean, that'd be great if it does. I'd love for this thing to go again. Looks like we did open higher, but we have come down to yesterday's highs. So maybe we'll catch a bid around there, around 460. Meanwhile, ABVX still kind of just hanging out there around the VWAP. GoPro going lower. DNUT going lower. Shot a meme. Let's look.
Let's take a look. I'm back.
Is this the safety shot?
This safety shot. Yep.
Yeah, this is interesting. What was
I don't know if this is a meme stock, and I don't think this has nearly the short interest that these other stocks within this theme have. I mean, we're looking at 3.5% of the float shorted on 1 day to cover. So I don't really think that this necessarily fits into the meme stock category.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering if there's wasn't there some kind of theme going on for alcoholism treatment? I don't know.
Theme. Well, I mean, didn't we talk about alcoholism treatment with the GLPs kind of helping that? There seems to be an arc to alternative treatments like ayahuasca and ibogaine, although there's really no stock to play for that. I think is that the theme that you're talking about?
It might be. I'm trying to get reminded of it. Anyway, keep in mind, this just did an offering, or they just issued an announcement.
PLRZ, sorry to interrupt you, but PLRZ, that went boom. Great job from our chat here for hitting that one. That actually stopped right there at the pre-market high.
The rat stocks, SNES, Beast, last 3 days. That's the one that has the reproductive controls, right?
Yeah, that's Yep. Birth control for rats is with the theme that we talked about. This, Izzy, I said it before, but I'll say it again. This was a monster call. And shout out to you because you had actually tweeted me something that I could read prior to the really big move there. So really like that, man. More of that stuff.
Yeah. Did they ever exercise their offering? Because it looks like they filed one earlier this month. All right.
NVIDIA, this going higher here out of the open, seeing a whole bunch of call sweeps here on NVIDIA. These look like the 170s and pretty near term. Yeah, these are this week's. So it looks like they're just trading some upside momentum here in NVIDIA.
Rocket Lab having a pretty good day. Taking out the pre-market highs.
Voyager not having a good day. Boy, I struck out on that IPO, man. Damn. Minus 2.5% on Voyager.
You know, I like and don't like it. I like it because I know exactly what, they're about. I don't like it because it's all dependent upon one other company.
Yeah, totally get that. And the performance of the stock has just been horrific from the IPO.
We have DNUT approaching the 200 EMA, and after that, we'll have the session low. I'm sorry, the pre-market low.
VIX actually, it was obviously lower in the pre-market, now lower out of the open. 1602. VIX looks like it's going lower. Apple pulling as we speak. Netflix did bounce off that 1180 spot. Is he saying Rocket boom? We getting another move higher here in Rocket? Not really. It just bounced off 16. We really do want this to hold 16. Remember, 18, your next key upside level on Rocket.
New session highs for ABVX, which I guess is also new all-time highs. It's not too much higher than what the prints we were getting a moment ago, but it just hit 67. Well, now it's getting going. I'm getting even more and more concerned about this because at some point this is going to, the sellers will sell. And I just have this feeling it's going to be a little bit ugly when that happens.
JPM Securities price target at 39. The stock wave bye-bye to that. And as a reminder here, the stock owned by 50% institutional ownership. All right, GoPro, is it starting to bounce? Here we go. This is this actually bounced off one of the same levels it bounced off of earlier in the pre-market. So maybe this might be starting here. I would still be careful with some of these. The point that Tim made about stops, I think we could also apply that here to some of the day trades. Just don't let yourself get hurt on this.
PAPL is open and looks like this is heading lower. Market Sniper's mentioning MKZR. I haven't looked at that one yet.
MKZR?
Yeah,
Not Maxer,
MKZR.
MKZR. We can take a look at that. Mackenzie Realty Capital. Ooh. Okay, so this is a
Realty.
small guy, penny stock that went to dollar territory on huge volume here. We didn't have any news on this, right? This is just kind of fitting in the theme.
Yeah, I don't have any news.
Nothing fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a 1-for-10 reverse split earlier this month. They announced dividends. I guess I don't have anything much more than that I could look at, but there you go. I'm not sure what to really look at here. It seems like the moves aren't as outsized and overdone that we're used to seeing. But the big mover this morning, ABVX. I mean, I only say that because it's up as much as it is, but hasn't moved significantly since we opened here. But it is approaching 70. 69.68 is the high.
PAPL continues its rollover as it just lost the 65 EMA. Mullen making its appearance on the scanner at a whopping 9 cents.
Oh, geez.
It's just all you can do is laugh about it at this point.
I know. Getting a mention on Zim. That's at 16.23 right now, up over 3%.
Is that a possible buy? Oh, ABAT, by the way, this is another one of those battery plays that we've been talking about this week. This now higher as well. 313 here. Mike mentioning that the market is pulling here. Indeed, SPY down to 630. Here's a look at the SPY. Basically, all it's doing so far, though, is erasing some of the pre-market gains we saw earlier. Here's where we're at. We're still green on the day by 0.25%. Izzy saying he thinks we get a pull on the NASDAQ here today. That's already happening. NASDAQ currently at the lows of the day. Here's your NASDAQ chart. That's also red, by the way. Unlike the SPY, NASDAQ already in negative territory as the rotation out of tech continues. Jay, I think you were on that one too, right? Didn't you say rotation out of tech into value?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, okay. That's we're seeing a continuation of that here today.
DNAT coming down to the 200 EMA. See if it gets a bounce here or not.
I'm also seeing folks on X that trade a lot of these, like a lot of these day trade squeeze plays. They're tweeting now that they're out DNUT. I am almost thinking you might get another break of this area and a move lower if more people continue to sell. Mullen has a 95% rating on the Tuna AI signal. Tuna, is there an option on your AI thing to permanently mute a ticker so I never have to look at it again? Asking for a friend. That friend is Jay Rice.
I got a question about Tilray by Pretty Panda. The next level I see would just be the 200 day SMA, which is at 92 cents. I don't think we really run into any other levels I can draw on too significantly until we're back over $1. Looks like $1 would be the next one after that. All right, so donut down to the 200 EMA, seeing if it's going to bounce or not. That's an interesting take there, Jay, about CrowdStrike. CEO is a Russia-Ukrainian. But, anything's possible. Is ABVX or... I don't know. It's got to come down pretty significantly, doesn't it? Looks like DNAT is getting a little bit of a bounce off that 200 EMA. But I need to see a little bit more significant movement off that. Otherwise, it looks like it'll just fall right through it again.
Jay, this is interesting here. Jay, I can appreciate this, but for the sake of stock trading, stuff like this is kind of important to know. Jay here saying, Crowd, I hate to be conspiratory, but the CEO is Russian Ukrainian. It may get wrapped up in Tulsi's revelation. So I don't know if I can't speak on whether or not that's true or the how much is actually involved. What I will say though is if that does pan out, you're right. This stock likely to get hit on that. And I think that would behoove us to look at spots where maybe this thing would be viewed as oversold. I don't know if I would necessarily try to play this short on the back of that, but interesting to know. That's interesting. I'm normally pretty read up on the conspiracies, but I haven't dove into that one yet.
AEHR, more upside movement here.
Yassine, great call there on Tesla. It's interesting too, because I didn't see a whole lot of really bullish buys there. They did kind of sweep a little on the call side when it was moving to the lows, but it wasn't crazy. Then we did see some puts on top of that. And Tesla totally reversing now at the pre-market highs here. Watch 336 on Tesla.
So Pretty Panda, the areas that I would be looking at, I guess would be from like 60 to 70. That 10-cent range, every time the price gets into that, there's like a channel in that range there. Every time the price falls down into it or gets into it, it bounces around for a little bit before it breaks out of it to the direction it was going when it first entered. So on the way down, from February into March, we got some support from the 60-cent area. It bounced around a little bit, going as high as I think 72, 73 cents. No, high as 74 cents. But then it came back in, fell out of the channel, and gave us the 36-cent lows we got before rallying back up, breaking into the channel, bouncing around a bit, and now we've just broken out of it. So if you're looking for an area to pull back, it would be in that channel to me. 60 to 70 cent channel.
Sorry, didn't mean to jump the gun there. Oklo here ripping straight out of the gate and on better volume than we've seen the last several sessions here on Oklo. Manic Complex asking about what's going on with Apple. I had mentioned that, that Apple was pounding lows earlier here. Apple down nearly 0.75%, basically erased yesterday's pretty good day back down to those levels. I didn't think there was anything fresh on. Let me see.
Ooh.
Apple announces Apple Care One plan, $19.99 per month for up to 3 months. Additional products are $5.99 per device. I don't know that that's really moving it here. Google could face sweeping UK antitrust crackdown as competition regulator targets strategic market status over App Store control. There's been some back and forth news here on Apple, but it looks like this is your headline driving Apple down right here.
And it's
I'll throw this in the chat. Sorry, 13.
It's also hit Google a little bit, but not as significantly.
Yeah. Now what? So 13. Let me ask you. I asked Lion. You said you were playing Google calls for the print here itself. 13. You have any thought on a potential earnings play here on Google?
I don't have. No.
Do you think the fact that it's run recently kind of makes it a little bit more liable to maybe trade down on a print that's in line?
It was that the candle yesterday looked like a reversal candle. We did make higher prints today. But it still looked like this was about an area where we might see some selling pressure. So I don't have an opinion on the earnings. I am a holder of Google. I've been a holder for a while now. But if the earnings aren't great, that's fine. More if it comes back in, there's more opportunities to buy. But for now, I think I just want to make sure that this head and shoulders pattern doesn't take shape. So if we start selling after the earnings, then I'd be a little bit concerned.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that is that when I had kind of a janky head and shoulder here drawn on the chart where I was kind of predicting, or maybe not predicting, but looking to see if it fills that out. Well, it busted through the right shoulder, but now where it's stopping actually looks like a pretty even head and shoulders. So to your point about seeing if this continues to form here, we'll see what happens with this earnings print. No position for me. I'm out of Google. I took my money and ran. Rhett asking about the upcoming Figma IPO. I think it was Kathy earlier that wanted to have a discussion on that. So the Figma IPO I am interested in. This is an amazing tool for teams that work on a software product that might not be in the same location. It's great at designing. It's great at kind of going over things. It's great at taking notes. We use it all the time. I got to imagine that as AI proliferates and more apps are generated, Figma is going to continue to ramp in terms of its usage. This is an IPO that I actually really like. July 31st looks to be the IPO date for Figma. It's going to be ticker FIG, and it has not been priced yet. I am going to watch that one. Remember, one of the other tips for IPOs, you might want to wait 30 days for that quiet period to end, because it's likely right after that we're going to hear about either coverage, analysts, or maybe even something from the company itself. And so if you're not looking to necessarily play on IPO day, mark your calendar from 30 days from the IPO. You might see something that morning. 25 to 28 is the pricing range for Figma. Unsure what that's going to settle at, or of course what that's going to open at. ET3 says YouTube alone makes Google worth holding. The ad sales are just an added bonus. That's actually something that we kind of kicked around yesterday on a happy hour. I use YouTube more than I use my television, which has me considering canceling some of that because it's just so overpriced, but that's neither here nor there.
Just noticed that, one of the names of the minerals plays that we've talked about a lot, Northern Dynasty, that's getting a lift this morning, as the news here on this one is that they are looking for the court schedule in the EPA dispute over the Pebble project. So that's one of the things we were talking about that they need to get past is the EPA dispute. Turns out that as their most recent update had told us, they on the 17th, they don't have a clear path forward for a resolution with the EPA, so they're going to the courts now to try and get that overturned. So if you're trading this or if you're investing in this, that's the thing you're going to want to pay attention to now. So I just want to point you in that direction.
Chime here, ticker CHYM. This is another recent IPO. How many days ago did this IPO? We're ripping here, plus 11%. Really good volume, too, on this one. Let me see here. So our IPO date on this was June 12th, right? And it's July 23rd, so this is shortly. And when did this start moving? Gosh, this sure started to move near July 12th. I'll tell you what, that quiet period, 30 days.
Smoke Tuna, what are you talking about? No 100% movers? There's two. One of them is 500%.
He said besides the one that's 500%.
Oh, gotcha. Well, there's two. There's still two. I mean, we still have Pineapple. I'm sorry. No, it's not anymore. It's starting to, it just lost 100%, but it's trying to come back into 100%. So I still say there's two, but we keep seeing this where there's multiple 100% runners in the pre-market, and then they just lose that. Some of them lose that status into the open. I don't necessarily think that that's no 100% runners for the day. We're just running in the pre-market. Still, I think this is still indicative of market top or a near market top. PAPL bounce back to VWAP. Don't like the volume. Maybe it's trying to turn around. It's very spread too. I say very, but it's thin. I'm looking at 20, 30 cent spreads.
Sorry, which one?
It's PAPL.
Got it.
And it's it's just not a lot of volume. So I think as soon as you start seeing sellers come back in here, it just goes right back down. It's halted twice today, and it's both times it's been on selling news, or there've been selling halts. So
Pony news from Squawk. Thank you, Jay Wild. Squawk and Pony. I don't have the Squawk on, so I appreciate that call out. Let's take a look at that Pony chart. This is Pony AI. Stock is up 11% here, 1550 on volume. Pony AI shares trading higher after the company began Gen 7 robotaxi road testing in Beijing.
Looks like DNet is recapturing its 200 EMA and trying to go back up to VWAP.
Zoo's getting a mention here from the Diamond Guy. Here's Zoo's popping. Looks like 3 tests coming here. Ticker ZOOZ.
So is this a real company, or is it just a bunch of apes in zoos? Plans to additional strategic alternatives to fully capitalize on advanced patented flywheel technology. What does this company do? flywheel-based power boosting solutions. So it's an electric vehicle company. Where are they based out of?
SPY still trying to hold on to 630 here. It looks like we peaked below briefly, but we're trying to hold in here. NASDAQ selling has slowed a little bit, but it's still near the lows, and even the Dow has pulled off of its high.
Yes, Krispy Kreme still coming back up towards its VWAP. Maybe curling? I don't know. Market pilly-poly. Yeah, most IPOs are having a great year. There's a small handful of some that aren't having.
Yeah, the one that I bought's the only one that's not really doing well.
You know how to pick them, man.
I sure do. That's it. Man, I tell you what, you guys might consider just fading some of the things, especially on the IPOs. Existing home sales data coming in a minute. Let's see if
excellent.
Rocket responds to that. Or actually, you know what? I wanted to see how DR Horton is doing, because one of the things that we talked about yesterday, for the expert was a little bit unsure as to why this thing was trading up. Okay, down 2.1% here. Looks like a little bit of profit taking. Remember, it's had a 17% move yesterday. Big thing here is that a little bit of a pullback wouldn't be bad, especially if we held those moving averages. Now, I don't have them on this chart. Let me go to that bigger chart here real quick for DR Horton.
Looks like ABVX has finally lost its VWAP, trying to recapture now. Sorry.
You're good. Sorry, chart's lagging a little bit here. Here we go. U.S. existing home sales for June, 3.93 mil versus the 4 mil estimate. That estimate was pretty low to begin with, so it's coming in slightly under that. Here's the chart on DR Horton. Here's what I want you folks to watch. There is a consolidation area here. Let's just eyeball that 143.5 up to 147.5. So maybe if it holds that range, but perhaps more important than that, the 500 here is at 143 and the 200 is at 141. I would really want it to stay above that for a potential move higher here. Rocket, by the way, ticking up a little bit on the back of that existing home sale print.
Yeah, that's a pretty low print. Almost it's about where it was year over year. Oh, I'm sorry. That's June. So no, it's not. We're in July still. Let me look and see what we had here for that. It's about the same for June last year as well. 3.9.
Jane, Ryan, I've been accused of that as well. Accused of what? There might be a delay in there, which is why I didn't follow. ABVX, how are we doing here? Okay, pull back to VWAP and a hold. I suppose that's notable, at least for right now.
It lost it. Now it's recapturing it now.
PAPL held 6 and bounced from there. Rocket trying to move back up to its VWAP. We'll see if it can recapture that. That actually might get going later on if it can stay above its VWAP.
7 seems like it's the big level right now for PAPL. When we lost 7, that was on a big drop down, and then we halted the next candle over. Now we're trying to recapture 7. So far, even though we've printed above it, there's no closes above 7. So it seems like $7 is the big level to recapture with PAPL. And it looks like GoPro is kind of going sideways. Krispy Kreme is trying to recover, though I don't like the way this pattern is showing up here on the 5-minute. If we can't get back above VWAP, I think we'll have a bear flag on our hands.
I think one of the other things that we can kind of take away from this is that the Wall Street Bets Reddit thread short thesis thing that really kind of started during COVID, not as impactful as it once was. You think that's fair to say, 13?
Say that one more time.
The short squeeze impact, the longevity, the amplitude of the move, the Wall Street Bets thing is not as strong as it was when we first saw this materialize back around COVID with GameStop and all of that. So although we're seeing kind of a repeat of some of this, we're not getting the same type of extravagant multi-day humongous moves.
No, and I think the big reason for that is, well, there's probably a couple of big reasons, but it was during COVID. So you had a lot of people that weren't in their offices or doing work. So they were in front of their computers trading crypto. and other things that they thought was going to help them make it rich. And then you also had a lot of people with stimulus. A lot of that stimulus made its way into the markets. So without those two, yeah, you're not going to get the same kind of squeeze that we were seeing during that period of time. Very important components to why the things worked out the way they did back then.
Izzy, reminder here on the Rich Tech Robotics. I think we carved out this 203 when we talked about it last time, right? We really spent a while kind of trading around. Now we're pushing away from that $2 level. Pretty good here on ticker RR Rich Tech Robotics. This is also going to fit into that automation AI robotics theme. $3 definitely seems to be the next level of interest here. What do you think, Izzy? You think we test 3?
It looks like 250 might be the big resistance area. If you draw a line there and look to the left on a daily chart, I think you might understand.
Which one? What level?
250.
Got it. Let me put that horizontal line there.
And the way why I have 250 on here is because even with some prints above it, they don't stay above it for too long. And the majority of the time, it's having a hard time even getting and holding above 250.
Okay, 250 and 3, your next spots here. Dan saying, Ryan, have you looked into Superbox instead of cable or YouTube? I don't even know what that is. I would love to hear about that. What is that? And if you need to link me a bunch of stuff, or you need to tell me stuff, maybe, off the record, so to speak, here's my email. Shoot me an email.
Izzy likes 250 and Rich Tech. I'm there with you, man. It looks like the big resistance area to me. All right, ABVX. Now that we're back above VWAP again, looking to try and print some more highs of the session. 69.68 is the current high. We got that about 30 minutes ago, and we're trying to push it up now. GoPro trying to recapture its VWAP and 65 EMA right now.
And don't look now, but Rocket also trying to slowly trade up and recapture its VWAP. Excuse me, that's ticker RKT. Boy, that MKZR, what a head fake that was. That pretty much round tripping now. IOVA, this just took out the pre-market highs temporarily on the back of that buy rating that it got. HIMS, Rakesh wants to take a look at HIMS. Is that making a move above 50 again? Lion's on this one, isn't he? Here's HIMS, straight up on volume for HIMS. Let's take a look at the daily chart here. I think we're still going to look towards this trend line here. Also, prior to that, 56-ish, right around there, your consolidation area from the last pullback and retest of the trend line. Trend line up here around $60. HIMS also does. That's a good point, Joe. HIMS also does have short interest. I don't know if this is necessarily be part of the short squeeze, but 38% of the float shorted here, ticker HIMS, and that's also going to have days to cover of 1.05. So much lower on the days to cover, but still a lot of short interest in that name.
Here's DNUT that could be resolving its bear flag right now. It's getting rejected at VWAP. If this continues to come back down towards the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, this might make some new lows. Rocket Lab had a nice bull flag set up. That's starting to resolve. We'll see if it can print new highs here. Current high is 49.25.
Lion, okay, you're trading HIMS. That's that levered ETF, HIMZ. I guess I really can't read the ticker when it's M versus Z. It sounds the same. UAVS, that was one of those drone names. That's up 11.32% here. This actually spiking on volume. Would love to see Ondas follow this, but no go yet. How's RCAT doing? I feel like that's another drone name that we haven't necessarily looked at as much recently. Has anyone done a wellness check on Carmen? Carmen was our initial RCAT caller, I think from like $1 or something like that. Just a massive 10-bagger for her. Let me know if anyone's talked to Carmen recently. We wish her well. Thank you, Dan, for emailing. Appreciate you.
It looks like if there's a little bit more volume to come in this one, $3 might be the real big area of rejection. That looks like the largest level of where you could see resistance. On the way down here last year in December, it bounced off $3 before it moved through it at the beginning of this year. Once it tried to recapture $3, it was rejected in the middle of January. Hasn't been back there since. So I think $3 is where I'd be looking at as a major level of resistance. Also potentially a big breakout level if the volume's good enough. Cake and Car, new 52-week high or 52-day, 52-week highs. Yeah, great. Cake we were talking about earlier. Car, that's Avis Budget Group, right? Yes.
Oh, I got some positive news here. Positive news. I know we lost Ozzy Osbourne yesterday. R.I.P. to the King of Darkness.
Absolutely.
But WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair has announced that he is now cancer-free after being treated for melanoma. Can I get a woo from the chat for Ric Flair? Thank you, 13. That's great news.
Cancer-free now, yeah.
F cancer. That is, I'll take positive news anytime we can get it.
Avis Budget Group. I like 220 as the next area where you might see a slowdown or profit taking occur.
That's by the way, Avis Budget. That was Car. This was a monster Jay Rice call again. We didn't cover this a lot because we spent a lot more time covering LEU, which was another monster. But Jay, weren't you in this one in double digits?
This thing is almost a 4x, and that I think, and then 220 would be a 4x.
Car, my biggest winner behind LEU. That's what I thought. Oh, and look at the chat. Let's go. Brian, Graf, Crow. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's true. Rhett's saying Theo died from the Cosby Show. We saw that as well. I think we were talking about it comes, the celebrity deaths that come in threes, and I think that was the third actor. Because I think his death came before Ozzy. Just not a great summer for celebrities, unfortunately.
60 Jay, your Car entry was 60. The stock is 203. Jay just over here doling out winners and smacking drives right down the fairway.
Yeah, I like 220 as the next area for Car, especially with all that price action from 22 and 23.
Jay, I got a really quick question here, and I'm sorry for digressing for the rest of the group. I'll make this brief. Jay, what is your tip for the second shot? Because one of the things that has been plaguing me recently is I get up to the tee box, I go through my routine, and I absolutely pound the ball. 270, 290, somewhere in between, right down the middle. In P1 in the fairway, the randoms that I golf with are like, wow, this kid can really drive the ball. This is awesome. And then I line up for my approach shot, and I just completely shank it. Give me some tips on how I can hit a good second shot after a good drive. That's the hardest shot in golf for me right now. All right, Smoke Tuna mentioning UAVS. Smoke Tuna, did that come on the Tuna AI signal? We talked about that one trading up earlier, the drone, and this actually backed off a little bit. Maybe it's making a run back towards 240. What does it say? What do you say here on UAVS? Benzinga is not live on Rumble. No. I can ask the producers about that, but no one's even mentioned that before.
Jay,
I'll throw that in there for feedback.
Was that Ackman news on Hertz? What was the Ackman news? I don't recall what that was. Do you recall, Ryan? It was regarding Hertz. Car was 60 when the Ackman news hit on Hertz. Don't remember what that was. If that was a short position or if he was calling for something else.
Wasn't Ackman talking about potentially stepping in and saving Hertz from bankruptcy? Wasn't that the headline, or am I mixing that up with something?
I thought it had something to do with bankruptcy, but I wasn't sure. If
you shank, you're likely too close to the ball. Okay, I have done that. I've noticed that when I've been practicing on the. I'll think about that next time. That's actionable, Jay. I think. Thank you.
Trading golf tips here today as well.
Hey, man. This dude's won tournaments and can literally shoot in the 60s. I will take tips. Yes. Yes. Stop hitting your driver at the range. That's one of my favorite things, though.
Yeah, we do three things here: stocks, food, and golf.
Oh, just wait till tomorrow. Zach McCracken tried to call me out here today. I got a surprise in store for him tomorrow. I hope all you early birds are here early again.
Get that worm.
It's all in the hips. We got the Happy Gilmore crowd coming out here. Let me tell you, will see sad face Ryan if Happy Gilmore 2 is crappy. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be crappy. It might be good, but at least they have M&M in it.
And like everyone's making a return except for Chubbs.
Yeah, even Shooter McGavin.
Crow says, how is that Green Bay Packers ball that Jay gave me? Oh, it's sitting. It's wrapped up. It's ready to go. But I need a big body of water to crank that thing into first. GoPro bouncing here actually rejected 220 at the VWAP. I would still watch that level, especially if you get any type of volume expansion into that level. Looks like so far it's being rejected here. Still, I would keep this at least on the back burner. I don't necessarily think there's a reason to hold this at the moment.
Yeah.
War Pigs, one of my favorite songs. Yo, War Pigs on, I can't remember what Guitar Hero it was. Guitar Hero 3 or 4, one of the best songs to play. The solo in War Pigs, unbelievably good.
Yeah, maybe it will be crappy, but I don't know. When's the last time Adam Sandler had a really good movie? I mean,
Wasn't it that the gems, the gambling one?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. Thank you. That's what it was called.
I guess what I mean is that was a comedy,
Well, I mean, Happy Gilmore 2 is going to be a comedy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When's the last time he had a good comedy? Because I feel like a lot of them have been kind of duds. Like I didn't like any of the Grown Ups movies, but maybe that's just me.
Look at UAVS. We just had that up here. Did that go for the highs again? Sure did, and it took them. Tuna, that was a great call. I'm sorry for taking it off there because we did break through that high there. Now it looks like that high 240.
Adam Sandler movies below now. They just haven't felt great. AEHR, this is kind of moving up towards its high of the session, 2240. Bounced off the VWAP just now. Volume's a little bit low, but something I was just watching while we were talking there.
AMOD, Alpha Modus Holdings. So this had a pre-market pop, a pullback, now new highs. This is trading higher after the company announced it secured exclusive U.S. rights to CashX kiosks. Now, CashX, does that have any Bitcoin exchange in those kiosks? What is that? AI-driven financial kiosks. This is designed to serve the unbanked, so I feel like this would dovetail nicely with the Bitcoin ecosystem.
CashX does not offer Bitcoin exchange services. It is a platform focused on peer-to-peer trading and other digital assets.
You know what, though? I almost wonder if that's maybe a next step that would do. That would probably be good for these stocks that use that. I'm just spitballing there, though.
Yeah, I know you guys are saying that you're mentioning some Adam Sandler movies, but these are all like 10 years old or older. I'm talking
done
about
for me lately, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at is they just haven't been funny lately.
Tesla, by the way, back to new highs. And Bitcoin. So we talked about that really kind of bouncing off of 1800. It actually lost it, but it has reclaimed it. So we'll see if Bitcoin can maybe move higher, get some more spec money flowing. Home Depot holding up near 375.
Lunar really cranking, undervalued. Let's see here. It's up 10.5% right now after getting another rebound off the 50 and 20 day SMAs. This is capturing the 200-day in the process. It may continue to move up into that next launch. I don't know if there's anything going on prior to that, but there's another launch they're scheduled, or as far as I know, they're still scheduled for in October. Right now, it looks like $13 is the big resistance area for Lunar. So if we get a move and hold over that, then I'd be looking at 15 next.
Bull is moving here. I think that entry was probably right around VWAP down there at 17. I've got VWAP at 1706.
Yeah, this
Play. Dave and Buster's is flying.
Yeah, that's up 10.5. That's looking to take out the high from earlier this month on Thursday the 3rd. That high was 35.53.
They don't have earnings till September, beginning of September. It'll almost be football season at that point. Short interest here on Dave and Buster's.
Big, really big.
47.7%. So this may be in the short squeeze candidacy. 5 days to cover. Absolutely.
Yeah, we were talking about this squeezing
Yeah.
with Market Mayhem, I think back last month. And squeeze it did. Broke a big downtrend line that's been this downtrend has been going on since April of last year. And we just golden crossed this week. Show me that 500-day SMA. That value is at 37.81. I'd be targeting that next.
Yeah, Izzy asking me, really good question. Where's the buy on Netflix? Bro, the 1200 level that was my buy area yesterday, that got melted today. He actually lost it yesterday, tried to recapture it today, couldn't. Let's take a look here on Netflix because honestly, Izzy, my thought here was that Netflix was going to hold that. Let's take a look at the bigger chart here, see if we can't come up with an entry spot for Netflix because I do think this could have some more upside later on today.
1100.
1109 is going to be your 100-day moving average. You think we find any support? 1110 there? Tell you what, this 11 to 1110 actually looks to be a pretty good area, Izzy. This to me looks like it might want to test some more of that downside. Looking at these volume nodes here, does look like we have some right around this round number. Could actually see this really kind of overshooting here to maybe 1050, to be quite honest with you. So 1050 and 11-ish would be the next areas that I have here on Netflix. What do you folks think about that? Okay, so Izzy, 1100 I'm buying. Are you doing call stock? Because I think I might join you on that.
I see that 1164 is going to be another area of support. If you look at what was happening in May, he was trying to get over that level, and it finally did break out on the 15th. And it was 1164. That was that area right there that was keeping it down for that entire month before it broke out. So as we come back down to that, I'm going to be looking at 1164 as a support area. I don't know that it'll hold, but if it continues to go into that consolidation, that sideways action in May, the bottom area of that is going to be really close to 1100. So that consolidation area I do like. So 1100 for me, it's going to be like 1100 to 1164. 65.
Okay, I'm setting an alert here in Pro for the price to break beneath 1110. Izzy, when that triggers and we get that notification, we'll take a look here on Netflix because I'm with you on that. I think that, and I actually like your plan here of going after it with a small stock position too, because I think if you get another pull on that, that actually might be a decent position to add to. Lion here saying, I agree on Netflix. I bought a leap call, 1400 that expires December of next year. Boy, that must have cost you a pretty penny.
You know, ET3, I'll have to take a look at the do-over because I remember seeing advertisements for that, but I never watched it. So I guess that will count that since it was 9 years ago.
And then eToro here, Lion drawing comps to Robinhood of Europe for eToro. This actually fairly interesting. This was a recent IPO, right? This IPO'd back in May. Yeah, mid-May here. And it actually looks like it's trying to recapture this like double bottom support area that it put in. ETOR.
With rotation that we were mentioning earlier, it seems like Costco's getting some support here. Got a bit of a bullish candle on the daily chart here today. Sold off initially, and then it looks like it's trying to recapture. I think we were talking about how we might see something like this down around this area earlier this week in happy hour, because this has been getting some pretty serious selling ever since it hit that high back in early June. So it wouldn't surprise me if this gets a little bit of a bounce. Maybe comes back up to around 960, 975. But I still think this is coming in lower. But this is a pretty oversold area, or about to be too oversold. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's going to be a brief recovery here in Costco before it starts going lower. Is this an open for Mag 7?
Omen is what he meant. That's actually a good question because we're going to get some of those earnings really starting next week. I know we've got Google and Tesla tonight, but the rest of those are going to come next week.
We're in the thick of earnings now, and the big week is because we have like 20% of stocks reporting this week, and then next week we have a lot of big names as well, in addition to pretty much every single piece of economic data that the Fed uses to make their FOMC rate decisions. So that'll be fun. And we get the FOMC rate decision itself. So going to be a wild week next week, I would believe.
Market here still, or SPY at least, still doing a good job holding 630. So IOVA is kind of a slow mover here. Pony AI, we talked about this earlier. Back of that news. UAVS still battling 240. GoPro still battling its VWAP. How's DNUT doing?
Not doing too nice.
No. I like what you tried to do there. It was a bit of a stretch, but we'll take it.
Thanks, Rayon.
Rayon. I get called that all the time.
I know.
Rayon and Brian.
Looks like PAPL is trying to come back. I'm not really liking the volume here or the spread. Be careful with PAPL. Looks like GoPro is still trying to turn around here. Meanwhile, DNUT, this got VWAP rejection coming back down to the 200 EMA. If it loses this, I think we make some new session lows.
Pally going for the intraday highs.
Yeah, how is it not bigger up on their news? Because it's a little thing you put in your croc, little shoe, a little bit. You bedazzle your croc. That's all it is.
I don't even know what the hell you just said, to be honest. That's okay though.
You've seen Crocs, right?
I'm familiar with Crocs. Yes.
You know how they have those little holes in the front part of the shoe. So people can put these little items in them, like I don't even know how to describe them other than just like little trinkets.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's just, I know what you mean.
And that's what Krispy Kreme is running on. That they're releasing a limited edition version of that. Watch. I mean, how many? Why is this increasing its market cap so significantly off of that? But I think it's more because it's a short squeeze.
Does the unusual option activity under the Pro subscription? Ahmed, I think you're missing some words there. I think what you're asking about is, does it come with the Pro subscription? It's technically an add-on, but you need Pro to use it. You might be able to talk to James and work out a deal to get that included, however. So I would reach out to James to help you with that.
That's a great point. And I think one of the other ones that I was looking at too that also did the same thing you're talking about was Texas Instruments. They had good earnings. Now I think because the range of their guidance kind of was about in line with what the estimates were, it probably sold off as a result of that. But no, to your point, yeah, I saw Texas Instruments selling off, and I was like, those earnings seem pretty good. Why is it doing that?
Trade Desk here getting mentioned. This actually is looking all right here today. Not a huge move. We talked with Mark Petrino about this. Really what we need to see this get above is this 85 area, right? This is going to be your recent high area. This is also the edge of this gap that fills up here at 119, 118-ish. So I understand the move here for Trade Desk. Would love to see this really kind of break above 85 to really get rolling. They have earnings in a little. I don't know what they're going to do on their earnings. I would actually probably wait on that trade until post earnings.
The forecast is weak at first glance. Yeah, you're probably right. It just seems like there's a little bit of a margin compression. I think the concern is the effects of tariffs. We're getting asked about Lockheed as well. Is this dip worth buying? So I was kind of contemplating that as well. I know we have some folks that started some positions as a result of this selling. Now, the thing I need to see is a recapture of 420. I think that's a really important level that we need to stay above. If it cannot do that, I think that we're looking at potentially somewhere around 360 to 375 that this could go down to. In which case, I think it'd be a pretty solid buy down there.
Ahmed here, James's contact information, his direct phone number and direct email in the chat there. Be sure to reach out to him. I'll let him know to expect your call. Jeremy here saying, just wanted to share that I really appreciate the community and channel as I'm still learning. Jeremy, we're happy to have you here. I'm glad that you're appreciating it. One thing as I say to everybody, let us know what we can do better and what will be more valuable here for you.
Getting asked about Wolf, I think that with an O, I think this is the one that is going bankrupt. I'll have to double check me on that, but we are seeing a move back over the 50-day SMA again. This thing has a history of when it closes over the 50-day SMA for the first time in a little while in a day, the next day it tends to open higher. You can see that's what happened earlier this month. Any other closes? We got one close, but it went down. So I guess it's not always the same case, but more times than not, when this gets a close above the 50-day SMA, it has a tendency more times than not to open higher the next day.
Here, something else that you should consider here. Check this out. Here's your seasonality right now on Lockheed Martin. I'd actually trim this up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this to be right at the peak. Right here between July 23rd today and middle of August, August 14th, this has really good seasonality. You can see it here on the trend. We take a look at some of the stats here, 80% probable on the trades. I would have a tight stop on this because your average loss, if this doesn't work, about 3.4%, your average gain about 5.1%. So I would just keep that stop tight, maybe put that to a 5-to-1 risk to reward in terms of what you put on the line here. 80% probability of that trade being successful per seasonality. Now we've got the earnings out of the way here. Just something to think about. Lockheed Martin, ticker LMT.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good discount, especially if you're a long-term holder. So if it goes lower, I still think I'm a buyer. G-Pro crossed VWrap and rejected. Let's look at that. I don't see a rejection of VWrap. Well, it must be different in my broker. I see a breakout over VWrap, and it's coming back down to test it as support. It's just probably different in my broker. A lot of these mover names this morning looking a little weak right now. Maybe DNUT is able to turn around still. It's holding above its 200 EMA. Just tried to go after VWAP again, but got rejected.
Rocket did, in fact, lose 16, and it's actually struggling to get back above it there. Kind of a disappointing move today on Rocket. Was hoping for maybe some more move higher. Might even be able to peel some of those leap calls that we had on it. BBAI is going. And Pete, I'll take a look at CNC here in a sec. I got some thoughts on that CNC I'll share with you here in a sec. Here's BBAI. This indeed is trying to move higher here. 780 maybe, maybe 8 more like.
So we just had almost a double top, it looks like, here in BBAI if you look at a daily chart. Coming back up to test that 8 level again. It looks more like 850 is the spot that needs to get over, because both times it came up here and moved through 8, could not close above 850 both times. So 8 is I have that marked off as a level here. So 8 and 850 would be the next 2 spots that I'd be looking for BBAI to capture.
And we want to see this volume continue to expand. Pretty good buying volume here today, which is different than the last 3 sessions that we've looked at. Pete here, no recommendation on this one, but earnings are pre-bell on Friday this week, decimated this month. Clarity to come on Friday morning. This is for ticker CNC. Remember, this was one of those healthcare names that really kind of got hit It's having a really good day here today, up 3.6%. As Pete mentioned, the earnings there Friday morning. The one thing that I would say on this, Pete, I agree with you that this could really kind of go either way. Like,
it's a trap.
It could either be a trap or this could be a huge runner here. I'll tell you what, though, just looking at the daily chart, this sure feels like UNH, doesn't it? And I understand that, the CEO wasn't assassinated here and the whole thing, but I still, to your point about clarity here, I'm almost thinking that this makes a more suitable trade when we have some of that clarity. Maybe you get a continued run. You, of course, won't nail the bottom on that. But we saw UNH bounce and then roll back over and retest some of the lows. I don't think the story there is done at UNH. Let me ask you, let me put a hypothetical out there. I know you're not necessarily recommending this for earnings, but if this stock gives you clarity that you feel good about in that earnings print, is this something that you might consider swinging, maybe for a potential into the gap, maybe just a regression back to this 37? How would you play this if you get the clarity you seek in that earnings report?
Cake is continuing.
Are you going to have your cake and eat it too?
Wow, big move. Getting extended though. Yeah. So much for that triple top. Yeah, BBAI still pushing on. Okay, yeah, we were talking
Look
about
at this.
We're looking for 8.
God, the only thing I remember about Cheesecake Factory is some like appetizer, some like corn tortilla, corn tamale. Let me look it up. You don't have to wait for me. Sorry. This is a nonsense thing that I'm looking up. Sweet corn tamale cakes. Best appetizer at Cheesecake Factory. Been a while since I've been there. Yeah, they're so good. God.
Is their menu still a novel?
I haven't been there in a while. I would imagine it is. I'm already swinging CNC at an average of 29.10. There's likely to be huge resistance between 31 and 34. Short term, if the news is good, bottoms up if it's somehow worse. So would you take gains there on that 31, 34 resistance area from 29? Cake is the best food ever. I went there yesterday, and it's a book.
Yeah.
The menu.
and so CNC, what was, I'm sorry, I didn't read this. It's like huge. So is this something you're playing for earnings that comes up in a couple of days here? Or is it just a day trade today?
He specified a swing, so I want to, and he's pretty adept at what he's trading. So I would imagine he's probably swinging this through earnings. That's going to be the big event there.
Okay. Yeah, I like his levels too.
Jay, you mentioned VKTX moving with some of those biotech ETFs. Let me ask you, do you still think VKTX has takeout potential? Despite the big move down here, do you think that this is a possible acquisition at some point in the future? They have earnings today after the close on VKTX. Interesting. Looks like I lost the chart again here.
Seems like there's a lot of deadness, a lot of sideways action happening here in a lot of these names we're looking at.
Seeing some rocket calls getting bought. It's only a 70K trade there. That's for the September 18s. That's probably a squeeze play.
Yeah, we were checking out Wolf there. Looks like it backed off of 205, but it's coming, trying to rise again, get recaptured too. Somebody was saying that there was a new CEO that's potentially going to help navigate this company through its bankruptcy, or what was that that information that you posted earlier? Gonna need. That's a good point, Jay. See, at some point, I kind of felt like this was going to happen. Like, everybody's on these fat drugs now, so hey, we can just start eating like crap again, right?
Jay. Oh, that Jay. You make me laugh, man. And for that, I appreciate it. Izzy, by the way, your buddy and those fish, dude, what kind of fish are those? Those are gigantic. And your buddy there wearing a Michigan jacket. You like that? The struggle bus says Google is on the struggle bus.
Well, I mean, if he would know, because if Google's on him, then he should know his passengers. Yeah, it's probably coming down for the same reason that Apple is right now. That UK news.
King salmon, boy, oh boy, those fish. That's a hell of a fish, man. You must have had a great time. Also, Izzy, I'd like to know at some point where the diamond guy comes from. I actually just picked up my recent copy of the gem guide. I'm going to go through that and see what's changed in the diamond and the colored stone market.
Lots of just stagnation happening here with a lot of these names. Some of them just either sideways or slowly grinding higher and lower.
CTOR did pop from that 230. Pretty big volume here. This, to me, seems like a move to lighten into.
We are past that 1030 marker where we do see volume leave the market. So it doesn't surprise me that we're getting a little bit light trading at this point.
Smoke Tuna, I got my passport, so I'd like to get over there at some point too. Got to figure that out. Believe me, you'll be one of the first people I call. My best friend lives in London, but you'd probably be call number 2 on that.
Jay, what's interesting about Target is this area that we're in right now, there's a lot of consolidation, a lot of bottoming that happened back in late 2023, right in this price area. And we came down here in March to visit that area again. We knifed right through it. Do you feel like we're going to see a similar price action on the way back up, or do you think this will be more of a struggle to recapture that 112, 113 area?
Sorry, producer. Tuna will be the third person I call. I totally forgot. Producers.
You screwed up.
Big time. I put my foot in my mouth here this morning. I might be in big trouble.
But yeah, Jay, that area that we're going into right now, around 110 to 113, let me know what you're thinking there. It looks like it could be not so quick of a recovery, as quick as it was a decline. AEHR finally coming up here, looking to break 2220, where it was rejected earlier this morning. Did hit a high of 2240. It's up there. It's coming up to that right now. Just need a little bit more volume.
This was another good call. You guys, there were a couple of you guys that were on AEHR post the poor earnings, and it's been straight up since that earnings.
And we still have some compression happening here in Wolf after we had this run up. But if it continues to compress, we still might see push over 205.
1,000 Wendy's calls bought just now. Those are leaps. That's January 2026. 1,000 contracts. Traders spent 145 grand on the trade.
I mean, kind of looks like we're potentially putting in, or attempting to put in, some kind of bottoming here with Wendy's. I mean, this thing's never recovered from the high it made in 2021.
And then you guys are talking about Arnaz, which I don't see on the scanner here. Is this a huge winner that I just kind of missed? Arnaz up. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
I wrote that down, but you didn't cover it.
Yeah. What kind of volume are we moving on? This didn't meet the volume criteria. So that just goes to show you interesting. That is really, really interesting. Very small float, sub a million shares here. On average, trades 140,000. Today, coming up to 500,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the struggle bus. That's indeed. They say that's why the chili is so good. I've heard stories, although I can't confirm, that there's been people in Texas that have used Wendy's chili to enter a chili competition and won.
God,
Joe's like, that's not the chili competition I want to go to.
I mean, they better not have beans in it.
The Wendy's chili does, in fact, have beans.
It does?
I believe.
That's not going to fly out here.
Uh-oh.
In Texas, you don't put beans in chili.
Okay. You learn something every day. Where's that? The more you know. There you go. There it is. There it is. And you guys, every time we talk about Wendy's, the Baconators get mentioned, which is tough for me. But also, I make a better bacon cheeseburger on my Blackstone than Wendy's does. Controversial opinion, I know, but trust me, I'm right.
CW's, it will fly after you eat it. Look, out here, there's a very big...
Take care, Judge.
It's very much hated that when beans are in chili. Now, I have had beans in chili because, I think it's fine, but it's something that I learned since I've been out here because, we have our own gas. Exactly, Bob.
Yeah, it's chili beans are what's used in the Wendy's chili.
No beans, extra fingers.
Now y'all are getting crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Arnaz held its VWAP. Hasn't broken down completely. Maybe there's some more room here for it to go. Man, none of these movers from this morning are really looking that great. They're just kind of sideways right now.
This SLCX Silix Holdings here, this was a mention. C-Dub? No, Edward, excuse me, Edward. All you did was type the ticker and a question mark, so I don't know what the hell you mean. But stock's ripping here up 26%, and it looks like we did have some news here today. $100 million common stock purchase agreement with Tuman Stone Capital.
Eric, I've seen some different types of 3D printed homes, not the specific Lennar ones. And I'm not in Austin, so I'd have to make a drive out there to check that out.
Good question here. John saying, what do you think about XYZ? So we talked about this. This is now part of the S&P 500. I broke the news on this earlier this week when we had, I guess I didn't break the news. I had covered that piece of news here for this group. That's what you see about the big run here. So I like this. I think that this is going to get bought more by funds now that it's in the S&P 500. I would be entirely unsurprised if eventually XYZ, which is Block, formerly Square, ticker SQ, I would be not surprised, frankly, if this tests 100. I don't have a position here, because I felt like I'd be chasing the news. And one of the things that I was looking for was a potential island formation where it pulls back to the base of the gap and then goes. And we got the opposite of that. It just kept moving higher. So I have no position here, but I do like it. I like the catalyst here that's driving Block higher.
CTOR just popped to new highs. Wolf is having a hard time with this compression here. It just came down to the VWAP.
That's WOLF, right? That's the one that popped earlier. Okay.
Yeah. ABVX getting some volume. Just took January puts and RCL, but it keeps going higher. You look at RCL yet today?
No, we haven't.
Royal Caribbean?
Nope. I haven't looked at any of the boats today.
That thing is continuing to grind. What's the appeal here with this one? I haven't been following cruise lines, but
Yeah, neither have I. And actually, I haven't seen any options for any of those either. Let me just check just in case I missed them. Nothing for RCL today in terms of unusual options. Here's CCL.
this has had a
One
psychotic
call sweep, but
past 4 months. It bounced off the 20-month SMA in April, and we had the Liberation Day unwind. And since then, it's just been nothing but the most bullish candles in a row that I've seen in a while. But this thing is very extended here. The monthly RSI is 78. Could still go higher, though.
Jay, I actually got a LinkedIn update on AB. He got a new job recently here. I congratulated him. I can't remember what it was at, but yeah, let me see if I can find that for you. As far as I'm aware, he's doing well. Mitch too. Miss Mitch. I haven't seen Spencer. It's been too long since I've seen Spencer. Spencer, by the way, one of the nicest people I've ever met. Really make me feel welcome when I first got hired here at Benzinga.
He was the first one I ever spoke to in Benzinga.
Nice guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We emailed for a little while. Oh.
He's funny, too. I like Spencer a lot. That's a good dude. All right, guys, we got story trading coming up here in 10 minutes. Oh, my God, I cannot figure out my phone for the life of me. Good Lord. I'm just trying to go to LinkedIn. I did, by the way. Does anyone else play the zip puzzle on LinkedIn? I got a new record here today. Did it in 8 seconds.
You're supposed to be finding a job. What are you doing playing games?
I'm not trying to find a job. I have my dream job. Don't say that.
I know, but don't people go to LinkedIn to find employment? Or, well, I guess to also, network. But LinkedIn pretty much replaced Monster and all those job, searching and recruitment websites, right? That's what everybody uses now?
Yeah, I mean, I use it because this game's really addicting and it reminds me every morning to play it. I hate to admit that. Really quickly, Aaron, leading content and affiliate partnerships at Brief Media. So congratulations to Aaron. Again, Jay, as far as I'm aware, he's doing well. It's a bright kid. He's better at me than golf, too. I wish that wasn't the case, but it is the case.
Struggle Bus says LinkedIn is Facebook for unemployed people. Are there a lot of LinkedIn users on the Struggle Bus? I'm just messing with you. Smoketon, are you upset because we have this disagreement over whether or not there's 100% runners in a day? Is that the problem?
Oh, I hope he says yes to that.
Just say yes. We know that's what it is. Just say yes.
Zach here. Question: you have a position without an attached sell order. Okay, so you buy more a bit higher without a sell order. The stock goes up and you sell some. Which shares are being sold? So this has to do with whether you're first in, first out or not with your broker. And I believe that's a setting that you might be able to set from your portfolio. As far as I'm aware, I'm on first in, first out. So if I buy a stock at $10 and then the stock goes to $11 and I add, and then it goes to 15 and I sell, I start selling my $10 position first.
No, Ryan's not getting fired. We're just discussing LinkedIn because he plays a game on there. Don't worry.
Yeah. First in, first out. So it's going to sell and I believe XIII one is correct. It is on by default, but I do think that you can change that. Broker dependent. Yeah. See, big bear hug. My broker lets me specify the shares to sell. That's right. And yeah, I don't know where the talk about me getting fired came from, but knock on wood, no.
Getting a mention about BNR. This is Burning Rock Biotech. This is having a really nice move. It's been on a recovery for a little while, but this just had a big move today. Captured its 500-day SMA. Let's see if it holds. What's the news on this? Financial? No, I don't see any news. Nothing since June. So I do not know why this is suddenly moving back up. Maybe there's something else that we just aren't seeing. Open low of day, says Jay. Wow, what's everything else doing?
I'll tell you what, all those squeeze names really just kind of died.
Yeah, they did.
They all just kind of got quiet all at the same time. And I'm worried that there are folks trapped in that. Now we've got new bag holders at higher levels on some of these.
And Dina, here we are back down at the 200 EMA on the 5 minute again. If it loses this, still looking for new lows of the session.
All right, so we're talking about this goes out to Zach McCracken. We were out here talking about Baconators and Krispy Kreme donuts today. There is some burger place that does a burger on a donut. Has anyone ever had that? I can't think of anything more disgusting, frankly. I just feel like that would be a complete mess and the flavor profile doesn't really line up there. But has anyone actually tried it?
Is it
I am
Luther?
speaking from a position of ignorance. What?
Luther burger? Is that what you're talking about? A Luther burger?
Maybe maybe. I just know I've seen a burger, like a bacon cheeseburger on a donut. Luther's. Okay, it looks like there we go, Empyrean. I mean, that's just too much for me. That's honestly too much.
The diabetes intensifies.
Yeah, it's just too rich.
So BNMR is a China name, and that's why Nick Sanders is not touching it. Even though we're having a big run on this, let me just look into some of that because I am curious to see what we got here on this company, because it seems like that's a lot of information they're putting out to be a Chinese company. But I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just need to look and find out more about this here. Yeah.
Oh, God. Harry, let's write a letter to stop Ryan from getting fired. I would appreciate that. My buddy just texted me and said that that's happening. Is that true? Chat, you'll have to let me know. That is still news to me. But if that is the case, yes, please write letters and or emails.
Him still going up?
I won't make the joke that I was going to make. PLRZ round trip today's moves. This is basically back down to the pre-market there. Should we run a poll? Perhaps we should save the poll for tomorrow. We are actually about to go to story trading here in just under 4 minutes.
Yeah, and movers just aren't moving right now. Just nothing but sideways action. That ABVX, we did get some nice movement out of the gate, but not a breakdown. So that's fortunate, but it has just not done a whole lot since then.
Y'all folks on HIMS here, this was a really good trade. Seeing more call sweeps here. The 55s for this week going off there in some pretty good size too. 226 of those per sweep there. HIMS at the high. HIMZ, the 2X Defiance ETF, also at the high. This was a really good call from the open, whoever hit this on a day trade. Multi-point mover here.
AEHR new highs.
That was another good call from the group here, AEHR. And I'm pretty sure Story Trading likes this name too. You guys will have to ask them about that. This is a nice move. Pretty good day overall, despite, when I woke up, and I looked at my app and it was Rocket in the 18 handle, looking like it was going to go back into the 19 handle. I was like, today is going to be a day. And sad trombone there from Rocket. Kevin, take care of yourself. Dan, take care of yourself. We'll be back again tomorrow.
See you, Dan. Open
down. Might be done, Ed. That short squeeze, that we're on the backside of that move now. I wouldn't even try to play that for bounces unless something else changes.
Yeah, it's down to its 500-day SMA. That would be an area where I would, at the very least, look for a bounce, but still has a lot of potential to go back to 150 or lower, maybe even under $1 again. Really quick here, Pete, call sweep here, ticker CNC, the $75 call that expires January of 2027. Nice little leap by there, 251 contracts in that. Trader only spent 30K on that.
What else have we seen here for CNC? Just out of curiosity. Man, I tell you what, all of the unusual prints here on CNC, all to the call side. And a lot of these are leaps. That 115 expiry, repeat sweeps in that. I almost wonder if someone was doing this as part of a spread or something.
221 support, so smoked tuna, and that's about where that 500-day SMA is. So I think that you could see some support there. And if we lose it, then I like 150.
All right, 13. Let's not encroach on Story Trading's time here. We're about to go. Any closing words for the group before we bring on Ben and Rhett? Oh, you know, I clicked the wrong thing. That was actually an accident. It was funny, but it was an accident.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, kind of a sideways day we had here. Some good moves, but for the most part, just kind of a little bit of a slower day. But you know what? There'll be another day to trade tomorrow. We'll come back. We'll find some more. We'll trade some more. Enjoy story trading. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care, 13. I don't think you're going to have to worry about tomorrow with all of the big earnings prints that we're getting tonight between IBM, Tesla, Google, and Chipotle. We're going to have plenty to take a look at tomorrow. In the meantime, let's go ahead and say hi. Let's bring on Rhett and Ben. How are you folks doing?
Good. Good. How are you doing?
We're doing really good, man. We've been really having fun with some of the "'tis the season to be squeezing" names here, whether it's Rocket, Donut, Open, or otherwise. So hopefully you guys got something good on the docket here. We getting Godfather today or what?
I don't know, but we can start without him, Rhett, if you want to tag him. But I tell you, look, Rhett, to be honest with you, Ryan, I hate this type of market. I hate it. This is like, usually it's the tail end of a bull move when you start seeing they're targeting specific stocks to squeeze without a catalyst. They're doing like targeting the gamma squeeze and the short squeeze. It's usually the tail end of a bull move, first of all. But, you know, it's just not what I like to do. First of all, I like to usually kind of do my own thing. And to make money in this environment, you just got to be a sheep. You got to follow the crowd, right? I don't do that. It's not my nature to follow the crowd.
I feel that.
And also, I'd be honest with you, I think it's a little unethical. The source of a lot of this stuff is probably illegal. You're not allowed to coordinate. And I'm sure there are influencers behind the scenes in Discords or whatever, like targeting companies and saying, yeah, let's all go in this one and let's buy all the call options to do a gamma squeeze. Like you'll never see that. You'll never see us doing that in a Discord because it's illegal. And you know, when there's no catalyst for it, I also think it's kind of unethical. You know, so I hate this kind of market. You know, it also distracts from real stories. That being said, you know, there are opportunities, like you mentioned, air. I think air is getting an added padding here. It's highly shorted stock. So we killed it yesterday on air. It's one of my largest positions in my retirement account. And you can make an argument that this move is justified anyway, you know, so I actually just stepped back into a little bit of air, taking advantage of the environment right now. But, you know, overall, Ryan, it's not my thing. I'll be honest.
Okay. Hey, look, fair, and I appreciate the honesty here. I'm gonna play contrarian here. You had said that the runs here might be indicative of a market top, and while that's true, let me play contrarian just for a moment, and I'll get out of your hair and let you guys discuss this. This comes from Ryan Dietrich, Carson researcher. The S&P 500 just closed above the 20-day moving average for 60 days in a row, the longest streak since 1998. Going back 50 years, this has happened 4 other times. And it's up a year later between 20 and 26%, and it's never lower 3 months later.
Yeah.
So
look,
what this is saying is that this bull market has legs.
No. I'm bullish in the intermediate and long term. And if you look at the SPY chart going back to the COVID crash and recovery, I think it's a very similar situation fundamentally, and it's a very similar situation with the chart. And you can see what happened. It crashed. It reclaimed the highs. It pulled back a little bit and kept going. So, you know, I was just worried about a little pullback in August or September, like a little bit of seasonality, but I think the same pattern is going to repeat, and we're going to be much higher here in the next year or two.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, boys. Kill it. I'll see you in a half hour.
All right. Cool. Welcome, Godfather. I don't know if you caught my opening comments there about all these short squeeze stocks, but not my thing. I really don't enjoy it, and I can't wait till things start acting a little bit more normal, to be honest with you. I know you've been playing some of these short squeeze stocks. If I do,
not really. I mean, I have a little bit, but in very, very, you know, like I said, like I say, lunch money size. You know,
and there's always a chance of a rug pull, and you know, it's just I just don't enjoy. I don't enjoy these type of plays. But
I'm more interested in legging in size when it looks like the music has stopped. So
Yeah.
I'll be watching for that.
So I'm just going to jump right in. We talked about the macro with right there with Ryan a second ago. We got to talk about burnout because this is a stock that both you and I have done deep due diligence on. We both love it. We both have it in our long-term accounts. And yesterday, we collaborated on this in our community, and we identified this reversal candle after this complete unwarranted drop, a drop I understood from a sentiment point of view, but fundamentally unwarranted. Then companies kind of blame for that a little bit in the way they communicated their ER. We identified this reversal candle. We even put in the Discord, I'm like, this is a great time for a press release from the company, and we got it. The next morning, we got this press release, which basically kind of, I think they maybe had to correct the way they communicated ER last quarter. So this is like my biggest position of my trade account. I'm like balls to the wall. I'm like really big on this right now. We climbed up to the 200 DMA. What are you doing here, Godfather? At the 200 DMA, are you tempted to take any profits, or are we going to push this higher?
No, not at all. I don't really see this as a trading stock, but given what's happened since the quarter, it's kind of become a trading stock. And this opportunity that's presented here is both a long-term and a trading opportunity, as I see it. You know, we highlighted the fact that this thing saw a spike down to 2022. I think it got yesterday, and I put out a chart in the Discord just showing how strong the support was at that $20 level, and surprised that we came all the way down here. There's nothing in the quarter, as you highlighted, to justify this sell down. They did indicate at the quarter that they would update, their progress in terms of resuming
but just
sales.
to be clear, I mean, I think the reason was in their press release for the quarter, they had a line in there that there's like softened consumer demand, right? And it kind of like stood there hanging. I don't have the terminology right in front of me, but I remember that. And I just remember the conference call being 100 times better than that. I'm like,
Yeah, look, it was one comment about how they do deep analytics on their OTC business, and they noticed that there were higher level of cart abandons.
that's
Well,
right.
that.
But then
That's
they said,
fine,
our
but
growth completely overwhelms that.
yes,
Our
exactly.
distribution growing completely overwhelms that, and we're going to meet all our targets and our guidance, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So their DTC sales, highlighted by Amazon Prime, was up some 20+% year over year. And remember that all of the sales growth here is in the compact launcher, which is 10 percentage points in terms of margin, better than anything else in their product mix. And it's quickly becoming the largest, or it is already the largest percentage of the product mix. So, and then you have to tie in the rollout in, store-in-store concepts at Sportsman's Warehouse, et cetera. So, yeah, like this was a course correct, I think, overdue. And, as I said this morning in the Discord, we need to be $25 to $27 just to recalibrate this mispricing post the quarter. And then I think you see margin expansion from here, or multiple expansion from here because of the margin expansion. And that's the part that I don't think people are completely focused on. So the trade opportunity is from these levels to 25 to 27. I don't think you bother taking any profits until then. And then if you have a long-term component as well, I think you ride this right back into a 3 handle, because I believe we get there before the end of the year.
Yeah. A slightly different view, but similar. First of all, we alerted this yesterday at like 21:50. And then it was the number one pick of the day in the morning note that I write for a Discord community. That came out at 5:30 in the morning. So at 5:30 this morning, when this thing was still, where was it? It was still down here at like 21:70, right? Gave it the number one pick of the day with a target of 23:50. And we already hit the target. I didn't know news was coming, but that's just icing on the cake. And I would say that I think because of the very low RSI and the strength of this news today, I think I'm willing to make that prediction that this 200 DMA is not going to be a problem. I'm hopeful it breaks today and we close above 23.53 today. We're close, but it's not guaranteed because the 200 DMA is a big deal and traders look at that. But I think definitely by tomorrow we'll be nicely clear of that 200 DMA. So either today or tomorrow we'll be nicely clear of it. And then technically I see the next target at 24.26, which is the candle here, which takes you close to where you want to be in the mid 20s. We'll see, how much it overshoots by in order to get to your fundamental targets. But, if you do clear 24.26, then you have room all the way to 27. So I think that's maybe the, more optimistic playground here over the next few days, is that we break 24.26 and, we're somewhere in there between 24.26 and 27. I think that's kind of matches close, right? We're kind of in the same ballpark, trying to tie the technicals together with the fundamentals there.
Yeah, look, just parsing what I think is the important things out of this press release this morning was the cadence of their rollout of the big box stores, right? They're at 290 now. They're going to be over 500 by the end of August, and they're going to be over 800 locations by the end of November. I mean, this is not reflected in the stock.
Their growth rate is insane.
It's a complete mispricing. And here's a perfect example of the most powerful drivers of profit in our community is when the technicals and the fundamentals both align. And this is a situation where you see it. And on top of that, there's a 9% short interest. The company has a net cash position. There is no debt on the balance sheet. There's no way to hedge this.
The cap structure is completely clean, right? There's no warrants or convertibles or anything.
Yeah, and not only the operating cash flow positive, they're actually free cash flow positive because they adjust things as they need to on the marketing spend. So
I don't know if there's any pharma tariff news. Someone put in the comments, Kodak getting a spike here. I don't know if it's just a short thing or maybe there's pharma tariff news. But anyway, so we're on the same page with that. It's my largest trade position now. I added more to my retirement account today as well on BYRN. Man, I got shaken out of XYZ this morning. I don't want to talk about it. Got a position in NBIS and AMD today. There's some things going on with AI and Trump today. I'm just flying through these. You can talk about them afterwards if you want. ABVX has been, I've been trading this like crazy, in and out so many times today. That's working well. Air, someone asked me about Air. Okay. So Air, I've been adding to my long-term retirement account over the last couple months. The news yesterday was pretty much expected. Everyone knew it was coming. It was a matter of when exactly it's coming. We played it yesterday. Made a ton of money on it yesterday. I didn't swing it into today in the trade account. Of course, kept all my long-term shares. And I didn't really expect such a strong second-day move. It may be because it's highly shorted, okay? And it may be because, they had the news yesterday, highly shorted. Let's push it again today. Look, I think there's a very high chance this stock goes back into the 50s within a couple quarters on this AI push, right? If you guys remember, it was actually on Benzinga when I broke the story on Air the first time, which was crazy. It was a crazy day. It was this day. You see this volume bar? It was July 23rd, 2021. I was on Benzinga telling the story about how this thing had inflected, and the thing just like took off after my show. Not because of my show, but people, basically went and verified what I said. And in the afternoon, it just like exploded. It was crazy. So this is a 10 bagger for me from $2.50. I rode all the way to $25. It was my first and still only 7-figure profitable trade. And I think we're on the start of a similar ride here where Air could go into the 50s. It's a little bit more speculative this time than last time because they still have to get those huge orders in. We just have to anticipate a little bit based on the cadence of what's happening, based on the AI adoption, and based on the order yesterday, that they will probably continue getting these AI orders. Back then, it was just so clear because they'd like gotten Tesla overnight, right? And it wasn't advertised as Tesla, but we knew it was Tesla. So they went from zero to hero in like a second. Over here, they got to grow into it a little bit more, get a couple more AI orders, a couple more AI customers, and then I think you're going to see the stock in the mid 50s, 60s in a couple quarters. So again, Air up 13%. I missed it for the day 2 run in our trading account, but I actually got back in after seeing the strength here at like 22.40 or something, like about an hour ago. Small position. So Berna, Air, these are the type of stocks I like to trade. Yeah, you got the market tailwinds, the short squeeze tailwinds and everything, but there's real catalysts and real fundamentals that's supporting the moves in these type of stocks. And these are the type of stocks and trades we like to do in our Discord.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I added yesterday some December 20 calls.
Wow, I have no call options on this. Interesting.
I added this morning some September 20s
Cool.
and some 1750s as well.
Wow. Nice.
So yeah,
I got to catch up with you. I have no call options on there right now.
yeah, I want to be out on this because I do expect that it's a low float, right? You're talking under 28 million in float and a short interest that's around 24%. So and you've got fundamental momentum. I mean, what a move. We really should have just closed our eyes and bought this on the quarter when it sold down.
I made a mistake on the quarter on the ER after this was me. This was after that earnings release. I'm like, I think I said basically I didn't think it would move until yesterday. I'm like, they're talking.
I mean, who can be really blamed for that, because they didn't give guidance, and then literally 2 weeks later they talk about the receipt of this order. They must have known that the receipt of the order was imminent. So why did they not have the confidence to give guidance? That's
so
doesn't equate. But anyway, we're
it's
here
one
now.
of my largest positions in my retirement account, so we get to enjoy that. All right. So that's Berna and Air. I do have to talk about Sinestech. Just a disclaimer: Sinestech is a paid sponsor of the story trading community. We've been working with them for months, but look what happened here yesterday. Crazy candle on big volume, and this was a result of new information that was revealed on we did like a YouTube interview yesterday, and on X with the CEO and the CFO, and man, they just spilled a ton of great info. So I guess you can go find that interview. Rhett, I'll let you talk about it. You've been silent so far. You're big in Sinestech. I think you know Sinestech much better than me, and you use the product yourself. So what do you think about the interview yesterday? Is this move warranted, and what do you think's happening next with Sinestech?
Yeah, I definitely think this move is warranted. I mean, just with the recent PRs they did, I think it's a couple of weeks ago now, but I mean, the UC Irvine, it just validates the product. I mean, along with the other stuff, the stuff works, and they're starting to see huge results in a lot of these huge pilot programs. They're switching to full deployment, so this move is very validated in my opinion.
Yeah,
and then you can find the interview actually by just going to our X account, and it should be right there, popped up, one of our top few tweets.
Yeah, and I actually have a big position in my retirement account. So very happy with that. This, and I've said it yesterday, this could be what happened with Air in 2021, going from 250 to 25. I think that could be Berna here in 25 and 26. Like we've already gone from 130, but let's call it. Let's forget about this tariff drop. Let's call it the base being around 250 again, just like Air, right? So I think, who knows? There's a possibility we could be up at $25 in a few quarters from now, based on the TAM and what's cooking. It's pretty interesting. What are all these comments? There's a million comments coming in.
Berna, BYRN is the ticker for Berna.
Yeah, and I don't know what Eric's talking about. Remember you trading the earnings live? Maybe something about Air. But yeah, okay. If anyone, maybe Rec, go through those comments. If there's anything we need to know, just let us know. All right. What else you got, Godfather?
Well, look, I don't think that this ETH move is done, and we're playing these ETH currency or treasury plays, but on a conservative basis, our largest way to play it is BTBT because they are also imminent with the IPO of their data center assets, which preliminary estimates suggest that they're valuing at around $1 billion, which strikes me, or sorry, $500 million. And the entire market cap of the company is about $1 billion. The value of their ETH is around 400. And then you've got some legacy BTC mining assets. So you're not paying a premium whatsoever for the ETH, unlike what you're seeing in the SBETs and the BMNRs of the world. So I think that that's a story that's going to continue to have legs in the second half of the year. One of the other names that hit our radar screen, DYNX, which is a SPAC that's doing a deal becoming or merging with an entity called the Ether Machine. And they're talking about bringing in $1.5 billion worth.
Let me ask you a question about that.
These are a couple of the names that I think
Let
are
me
better
ask you
ways to play than the hypo followers.
Yeah. Let me ask you something about DYNX. Because this 1.1 billion and some Ethereum that's coming in from the founder of the company they're merging with is, I mean, do they only get to buy that Ethereum and get that Ethereum from the founder, you know, in late this, whenever they said Q4, end of Q4, when they merge? Meaning, and otherwise, are they going to be penalized as Ethereum goes up over the next few quarters? Like maybe the value of, you know, their press release goes down during that time because they can buy less and less ETH with that money, or, you know, or is there any, you know, I don't know. You understand my concern here?
No, I'm not sure I do, because so they're getting 645 million, you know, from Andrew Keys, who, as you mentioned, is serving as chairman and key investor here, and then they're doing an $800 million equity financing at $10. The stock is.
But are they
trading
getting 600 and so million
so
worth of Ethereum, or they're getting that many units of Ethereum? Meaning, you know, maybe they'll get less Ethereum because the price appreciates. They'll only get that dollar amount of Ethereum from him, or are they going to get all of the appreciation?
They're getting that dollar amount of Ethereum from him, so that becomes part of the balance sheet.
Okay.
And then with the $800 million financing, they'll be purchasing additional Ethereum.
But they can only purchase at end of December, not now.
Well, when the financing closes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So okay.
So, yep.
Because I just noticed on that day or the next day after the announcement, there was a period of time when Ethereum was like surging, and this was going the opposite direction. I'm like, oh, is that because they can buy less ETH now? That's kind of what was going through my head.
This play and same thing with MBAV, like these are skating to where the puck is going to be, because these deals aren't done yet. But these are going to become large players in this group.
Okay. And
you're not paying the premiums for it. So there's sort of the chicken ways, or safer ways, I'd like to say, to play this theme. So.
All right. Rhett, did you get any other comments or questions for us in the chat there?
Yeah, so someone had a question for the Godfather. They're asking about, hold on, I got to scroll. GSRT, Jay Rice. I don't know if you put it in there yet or not.
Uranium spec, yeah, we've covered it in our Discord.
Yeah, GSRT for the nuclear theme. Again, this is exactly what I'm talking about with these SPACs for the ETH treasury. You know, this is a discounted way to play that theme and skate to where the puck is going to be. When this deal gets closed, and this, you know, changes its ticker and becomes higher profile, you're not paying the premium now, but you're going to get the lift in the future. So, you know, why wouldn't you have some chips on the table now? Yes, there's some opportunity cost to do that, but you know, I think you want to be there. Definitely on GSRT, and you know, the other name on the quantum side is DMYY. Similar situation. So
yeah, I've been holding. I don't know if you have, but I've been holding GSRT. I was hoping for a pop earlier, hasn't happened, but I don't really see much of a reason to sell it because I don't know when it's. It's funny with these SPACs. Sometimes they decide to explode pre-deal. A lot of other times, I think most of the time they explode as they approach the deal date, but sometimes they just explode out of nowhere, even though it's like months before the deal. So I'm like, let me just hold it.
There's a finite amount of capital that's chasing these names, and they're not focused on these ones right now. So, you know, they're going to come in and take you off your stock at a premium in the future. So if you have any sort of time frame that extends, you know, a month or more, I think you'll be rewarded. I see some questions about VYNE. Just quickly on that, look, I've mentioned this several times that this 24-week trial that's concluded, it's the phase 2B study that follows up on really good results that they had for their phase 1. And if you backtrack, you know, the number of weeks in the trial and how long it takes to compile the data and so on, the data is going to come out sometime in the first 2 weeks of August. That's a surety. I think the data is going to be good. Every indication is that it is. This name is similar. We highlighted it when we were talking about NKTR. It's still trading at a 50% discount to its net cash, guys. So, and it's a $25 million market cap company, and targeting a market where the only approved drug is a JAK.
Wait, they have $2.60 in net cash right now? It's trading at a negative EV?
Yes, sir.
Whoa, is there a short position on this?
No, there's no material short position. It's not a short position play per se. I
No.
think it's like 6% or something. But
A lot of these
um,
biotechs, I think, are up crazy because of that phase 3 stock that was up 500% this morning. I forgot the name of it. ABVX. After ABVX, I think they're just like finding any biotech to push today.
anyway, I think the volume today and the move in the stock is anomalous to the fact that this data is imminent. So it's been kind of asleep up until now, but somebody always knows something. So
When is the data due again?
I believe that it's going to come out sometime between the 1st and the 15th of August, first 2 weeks of August.
Oh man,
That's
that's
what the
not
timing
imminent
would
for
suggest.
me. I don't have that kind of patience, man. I'm gonna revisit. There's make sure to remind me. Make sure to remind me like July 31st or something.
I'll remind you the day after
The
the
day
data
after it
comes
goes
out
up 500%.
that you should have bought it ahead of time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All
Someone's
right. What else you
got
got?
any thoughts on VKTX for tonight?
Is earnings tonight? I don't know. I mean, I can't be everywhere. I own a little bit of my retirement account, but it's just been terrible. The technical. Oh wow, it still looks good. We played this last week or so on the break of this level right here. It was about $30. So it did okay. You can see the resistance there at 37. I mean, this has been just a killer for me. I've owned this for like a couple years, and I bought it at much higher levels. Um, Actually, initially I made money on it because you see this big candle right here on March 1st. I bought it in pre-market that day. So I made a killing that day. And because I had such good feelings towards it, because I made so much money in a few hours on VKTX on March 1st, 2024. So I kept going back in so many times. I probably gave up all of my gains from March 1st, 2024 because of that experience I had. I'm like, yeah, this thing's going to get bought out. They have the best GLP-1. So I can't tell you how many times I kept going back in with call options, waiting for a buyout, and it's just been a nightmare. And I've kept common shares in my retirement account probably since like the 60s or something like that. So it's been a little bit of a nightmare. And
That makes two of us, Ben. I tried playing it for a buyout with calls too. It just didn't work.
I probably tried 10 different times, Ryan. And then, you know what? At this point, I have a small position in my retirement account, and that's it. Maybe I'll get bought out one day. Maybe it won't. That's my feelings on it. I don't know if either of you have thoughts on that, VKTX or.
Not a name with me, but I think you need to shout out PBI in this March higher.
PBI is my number one largest position in all of my accounts combined. It's been a huge winner. I've been consistently calling this new 52-week high today. It's just a cash flow machine. It's just every single quarter they keep crushing it. And then about 2 weeks ago, a director on Berkshire Hathaway board, I forget his name, but he touted the stock, and it's been on another tear since. Earnings are coming up, I believe, next week. It hit our target July 30th. It hit my pre-earnings target of 13. It was this candle here, 1296. So it hit that target today. Put the alert out to the community. We were in some 1250 call options, so they were up over 100%. I sold maybe 30, 40% of them in the trade account. But this one has a potential, if the trend is your friend, and if this earnings report is a continuation of basically every single quarter for the last 4 quarters, they're coming in and saying, we cut more costs and we're buying back more stock or we're paying off more debt, like every single quarter for like 4 quarters in a row that's happening right now. If they do that again and you see this big W bottom on the monthly, if that happens again in a couple weeks or next week, then $17 is going to be the next step on this stock.
Well, that's interesting because I was just going to throw out $17 as a fair value on a fundamental basis.
Perfectly matches.
So, this was a frustrating name because we were talking about that when it was at 10 and it would just go sideways. And so you can't know for sure what the catalyst will be to get the market to pay attention to it. But now you're seeing it in the technicals and the fundamental supporters there as well. So I own it in my long-term account. I think you just own it.
Yep. It's great to have to kind of balance out your portfolio. And I did notice in the last several days when the market was having some red days and some tough days, it was outperforming. There was it seemed that there was a flight to safety a few times when you have these downdrafts, and I think PBI has been identified as a quality stock to do that flight to safety too, if there is going to be a correction.
Yeah, and it's a good name if you happen to make some money, scalping donut or something like that. Take your wins and throw it into something like PBI. That's going to pay you long term. So, 3 AI second derivative names that need to be on everybody's radar screen. There is something going on with Cypher. I don't know whether it's the meta rumor that came out yesterday, whether that's true or not. But since Core's takeover, there's been anomalous options activity in this name. There are only a few guys that actually have the expertise to stand up these data centers, on top of having the geographic locations that are strategic for them and the power contracts. CIFR leads that list now with Core.
Don't tell me Galaxy's up now higher day. I bought this in pre-market. Oh my gosh. There was a catalyst this morning.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
So
Galaxy and CIFR and the two other names that, we don't have time to go into the details here, but OUST and BZAI are both hardware and software related names to AI that need to be in everybody's list.
Man, I got totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right, how'd you guys do today? Sorry, Ben. That wasn't directed at you. That was a legit
Galaxy
question.
at $30 and as a day trade, and I sold it at like $28.70 or something, and now it's $30.65.
All right, good stuff here this week, folks. We'll see you next time, next week on Story Trading. Appreciate all of you. All right,
take care.
Take care. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, that is Rhett, Ben, and the Godfather. More good stuff this week. Crazy week, and it's going to be crazy next week too. So be sure to tune in next week to the Story Trading guys. They have absolutely been on fire. Jay, appreciate the positive mentions for our friends here, folks. We're going to send you over to Futures Fever next. Just sit tight, stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We'll see you tomorrow.